na moye ne sa na atemu adwuma no na mo tutu na se omamua omeya yetimi efiri 1962 ebesi 1963 Kwame Nkrumah eyi se akụkọ se di no soja ban aba ama soja ban ekọ obiara ni hono a wayi chief justice edi agi se Mampani John Dramani Mahama na ekame akọ ese NDC omabakwasam ewa agagifo ho no omo nsesan because PNDC era no ene yefa agagifo miensa ede omukobunda ase ekobo omutuo ekumomo empono na ba akodie ane ba etuanufo ano but sabre no na NDC aban no ayese ompagya agifo no asem enti anadwo ene yekofa agagifo yi ekobo omutuo etwa agya tumu a ne yesi yesi omo na kwabere di agepon ne papa eka ho edimu abesine and it has taken another NDC government wabase chief justice na ohono ontimi ni nya adwuma enjo ontimi ni nya adwuma dia ni obetimi aya ne se obeyi na di ede afiri ho media eba no sampo ankeye si ebekun ne si ebeyi wadidi sanka abefa yi di no ofa yi di no abefa ne saa etiene Mami Gertrude Tokonu okwa kwetena fi na someone na minority no kan say chief justice no anka moma nsemu a ewe court ni nyina yenkan wie yekan nyina wie a emuaye bia ewo ho bia na anu ye bia wo bia no na modi aba aban ne se dabi and the funny argument omo ye ne say se yeto aba wie ne yekoye election petitioner president ko a ebeyi wo no se court no eka say onye entumu a now president no say wo tranchen na nipa hofra yeyi no oba to the same way chief justice nso se court no eka say ensem fata say yeyi maame na dia new person no ombema ne kwan no abaye na djuma na me say eye me won se omo a eye sa argument no omo nyina eye lawyer for because sana Ghana constitution no ekani Orajo Mahama etia kunyasi on the 7th of January 2029 and the term of office na bawie se opese otoaso dia is a declare state of emergency aso no betimi atoaso na state of emergency nso no your parameters for hono mo a obetimi declare within some parameters no and obetimi declare state of emergency and galam say Christ so declare so what it means they say Mampani Mahama cannot stay in government beyond 7th January 2029 at the same time na parliament so omo term of office nso akwawie enuntina in the mind of the framers of the constitution say in that case onipa no electoral commission beka say oye president elect no say the presidency no abe disputed yen swear in kosi say supreme court e de emuaye ebeba na afedie they determine the way forward. But in the case of the Chief Justice, no, and the Constitution say, Chief Justice no anywhere. The senior most judge, Supreme Court, should act as the acting Chief Justice. What it means, they say, there's no lacuna, there's no space. The action say there's no space. But presidents need there will be lacuna. There will be nobody will be there to take care of the country to say you may be election petition. But in the case of the Chief Justice, no, the senior most judge, Supreme Court, no, ebe acting Chief Justice. Now about betua the jumaso. There is no ambiguity. There is no ambiguity. There is no rush. There is no lacuna. So I didn't na buy no in a hurry. Say obey appointee a new chief justice wa bria there are dispute efa kan mo fa so eyi ma me nyadi no me de ma dwunu mu ya me say o ma hu say ECOWAS court no on be di for aban be di for aban di for ebe overturn ne ma omo ye no so sana tie de so mo ye intentem na omo appoint a new chief justice say na be ECOWAS court no be ka oh so manya appoint to be the danti ye ka se yedwe ni kokora no a emwa said ye say say Nana Akufo-Addo election petition 2012 a court after 8 months yet the argument say 8 months dear o ka se wo koyi joma mafiro na de Akufo-Addo aba de toka be banti wo de woman into aso we 4 years be na nsen ya entimedia ma dwene mu ya me say eno ena na aban ne pese oye se nya saade a basis bi ani ho so be ka se obeyi chief justice na firi ho na ade foforo aba na wontimi ntwen ema asem no enkwa wiansa na ne ya wo ni nyina mu ni say papa no ene yayi ni say chief justice no ono ene sese o power tembufu a ebetena ma me na asem no so ebi o high court human right court ebi o supreme court why say on power tembufu no ema mo ntena asem no so eni ena asem no da ho ono so na obenya ho fa so se wan power tembufu na ono ene benya ho fa so nti na me ka say ho fa so no na wo die na entra me host minority leader say edo mo ye vet no a omo raise those issues no supreme court judge for no baako e threaten Jerry Ahmed our deputy minority whip no o threaten no court wo say obehu ade o de beye no e parliament wo appointment committee wo supreme court judge ne baako e threaten Jerry Ahmed say ubana baby aya duro no na ya hwe yi a ne democracy ya yetimi ahwe so abedu sa abiri yese no a na etoji ya budget no so aba na budget no e bai no aban say oye friend is saying physical consolidation oye prudent expenditure say hwan na and minority no so raise a lot of issues about the budget and aban no Nana Akufo-Addo mampani kufo na ye nkoko bypass yi Nana Akufo-Addo na be ye apedwade a o dualize sa kwan no eno ye se o hyase no aye bypass be ye enan wo kwan no so se de be ya akwansia ne ade ni nyina tu betwa NDC aban ba yi eno eni ho asemu ni budgeting but omo say omo be ye kwan hoforo kra ba bia wemusan tu a efa no ho no mo de kwan ne be fa kosi kumase enti wa hwe ya na na ado de na ebi adu 70% 60% no ne ade ndie ibeja no ho agenda 111 musa fe de omo de 10 pe na ebe shim bewura mahama ka kire school for connection training minim za kentampo and o say I almost say me ba agenda 111 no mento aso omo boa me ba meto aso mewie ni nyina na me de afam adwuma mu and no ba yi o say 10 pe because e bi adu 80% e bi adu 90 bi adu 70 bi adu 60 50 o si o jani nyina ho na onu amu akwa start 6 regional hospitals or so. Now I can only hope, I can only speculate say because of procurement issues so where they are ordered that the omu tuya ko mu nya bi ni die ko share dey ase 6 lanes ehun pochu ni aje 6 regional hospital ni aje se nya sa de a so wo sika adenti na obi ahye hospitals be se nsia ase na ai be se 114 na wo si wuja ho na akopɛ foforo na waba be hyase Dr. Bano aba economic figures no obehwe no aka ho asem na enne o hwa be hu say all the macro economic figures no they are looking good if you can say enye induce kese ya won pan hu say omo kɔ ayi no mirika na yesi afi bi doping omo wo nyuru no ha no ho ayeden enti ya wo won pan na kese ama it looks say ejana nine so say enne inflation and single digit exchange rate 10-11 wo hwɛ there to GDP no a akɔfam wo hwɛ say as enema nyina e look good but and then they look good next year ibetua debt restructuring year no ibetua about 21.7 billion ibeka kotua eurobond be say 1.3 billion dollars okane nyina buma about 3 billion dollars ibetua be sha ase na yatua. Can the economy hold sani mani nyina say IMF efiro memo caught by Augusta economy ni betimi ahudu ana a question. But the other question so na say adenti and an MPP aban woso no omonso induce the Ghana cedi na anye stable na enkrofon so anka say aban na ya ade na omugya ne saa ma seed ne yes saa na ne NDC aba omo induce seed no e won panie na Ghana na so ebe pesa answers no e dey free Dr. Bano no munchen na omotimi aboa. You live on Facebook, you live on YouTube, Movement TV on Facebook, Movement TV on YouTube. Nkomo no dosun Billy Pacho ma ura ne mrana menini wi ase ne fi ma ura mu Peter Ankama deputy managing editor for the Daily Dispatch newspaper. Peter, good morning.
Yeah.
Someone also science class prefect. So is okay.
Undisputed.
Akaline, what the name are you? Tibeshwe na ehojuma na bia wokode undisputed. Bia ni ho betimi no
akọ. Biko kamuko ise chiri ko ye mafia bi ko ye meetings bi a se kan.
Yo mko bo hopo.
Oh.
So still anena anyi. I'm run him.
Omo bo pona na ebo. Na yes episode 2 ade so because one day be why late na I'm family me show mo so it's undisputed.
Okay when the otirin kwa who say Supreme Court will made us Supreme Court Chief Justice ayi omadi nyina omo ya attempt see be yi omadi ayi ntimi no wo hwe history na court no
yes
and the board Chief Justice no ban but in the case of Mamito Kono, a court no, any abino, Mikoti Speaker of Parliament, any there is a collusion between the executive and the judiciary to weaken Parliament. But this time around, there is a collusion between the executive and the Parliament to weaken the judiciary.
But
collusion, there's a man for collusion.
So it's still undisputed.
Dr. Frank Bano, Dr. Frank Bano, economist, or science, lecturer, or Gimpa. Doc, good morning.
Good morning, Minia.
Patron, I want to say, I am Patron Isui.
Yanko Kwando, Minia.
Yanko Kwando, yes, so Yahoye, Yahoye, na, yes, so, Unana, unku bisa ma me abakwasem nti eba economy semne budget semde anaja yedwa ato amona mo atimi aboye nti me yiri so bibia daboko
minua bibia daboko anope mitia eye minua ofiri oboase we de ma menye ni minua ofiri oboase akaporiso wona antifiri no hwa no wadu mesu bi krum eye pomposo
ahusu fi potemu ha
akaporiso in fact if you are boasia anto boase wo ba wa wase na wa ba kwabrafo so na wa ba tutuka na wa ba bueti na wa ba brahaba wo me na wa ba akaporiso ho na papa yifi ufi akaporiso na ba pomposo ho na ye wo me ho so na mesumi fi nti saa time yesu so na government school no yes in between pomposo akaporiso ne pomposo nti die da so ne pomposo akaporiso early I see. In
fact, we call first time, I think last month. Okay. I mean, call Hoda. Say, it's a Mukroni being Sudia Kama. Brahababo,
I want a Mokoya.
Any Adriania, the name,
the inside, maybe a mines and a one.
Omoko Amanchim. Now, Omoko Dabra, Brababu no Mufria, Omoko.
Oh, I see.
All right. Ebenibo me dama asemo kwaba. Modi mama me breti a wasemadu edi ba edi me na me ne opani eni nkomo na afemi wia me ne mo aba abetra so St. Louisa Herbal Clinic opani eye Mr. Kwe, but we many
Dr.
Boati. Okay, we dey sorry. Dr. Boati patron na hotsen.
Yehu adom ho ye pa.
E Nyankopon ase. Da yeso so ye ho ye pa. Anope ni agise ye sa kan na apomuden die eya ne ho hia. nti yɛpɛsɛ yɛnhwɛ sɛ ayaresa bia na dɔɔso ama ebi mu nsɛm bebree ɛdeɛ nti yɛpɛsɛ yɛhu sɛ ɛdeɛ nti ɛna esi gya ne aka no nyinaa ne yɛba St. Louisa Herbal Clinic ne yɛbɛgya ayarehwɛ
yo Dawuro mi da ase na mɛkyia wo ne watiefoɔ ne wahwɛfoɔ nyinaa deɛ nti a ɛsɛ sɛ obiara bɛtwa n'ani ahwɛ St. Louisa Herbal Clinic ne sɛ St. Louisa Herbal Clinic no ɛyɛ clinic bi a yɛn baayɛ no your concept no quite different from others. I didn't make us you use what we call neuropathy and acupressure and reflexology the solve all manner of disease yare bia na dero CCIA ye kai enche ana ye di diabetic day na enema eba out no shocking say Ghana hanomo out of nifa 10 bia ubeyi bia no baako ewo diabetes na sanema we no otia ya na edi ayam hihie ye dey eba but me nso metumi aka say St. Louisa Herbal Clinic yen yakware da enema bi so a se meka neuropathy no simply means a nerve pain ana yenim say diabetes no entini yare wo pancreas na entumi produce enough insulin as a result of that no na ama wenya bibi ti se ahotwetwe na ofon ene saa ne ma no St. Louisa Herbal Clinic clinic bi a ti se de ma meka no neuropathy a ye kan ntini mu yare a yakwadra ye hwe ana eba acupressure no nso ye se ye use sensitive organ ti se onsem ene onan na ya press na ye press saa de na ye de correct se wuti ene yo ya ye wo part a ye bedua ama akoreti saade no wa abra wonum aduro St. Louisa Clinic nso no at the same time no enye se yen no ye kireduro ye ma aduro ho ba ye de ne se ye use what we call naturality by using some physiotherapy aspect of healing no ana yakwadre ewo mu a ye de sayare because the reason being that Ghana hana ye wono ye nimu se enipa nyina dodo na abuse drugs intino ya build what you call the drug resistance ewo yinipa bianum inti yanum aduro ne kura na eyede enko inti said ye beya ubehunu say there is a need for you to come to St. Louisa Herbal Clinic ne say mesi first of all you use neuropathy no using your nerve ana nerve no so no atochima edi bibi ti se obu ono ma onam na ni sisi nam alajo na nepa enso de enam North Canadian saa niema we ni nyina no niema oba St. Louisa Herbal Clinic ye be use ye acupressure no any our neuropathy knowledge na ye wono de address na ye wie nso a ye what you call the food bank ye ka food bank enye bibia enipa you are what you eat is one of our symbols. Now, you very a nutritional counsel. Bema what to eat and what not to eat. Diabetes here, you type 1 and type 2 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes, is something that we can acquire. You to me, a true, a careless eating, and near maybe a ya, a ma yasa, ya to say excessive drinking, and then on croneba. Now, and any pebintie uye O positive tie ebi a wonte da onse any pebi pepok pa but any beer but obi a wo no uye O positive no na se wonim dia tie you hu free pork wiem because yes and it slows down your metabolism and at the same time no a digestion taking place eye and it sounds so aboa na nkasa wa dos ade. So what happened to your veins? And
then so you started do okay.
There is a number so may cut specifically for people who are blood positive. Say Sanya mano uchumflu ana ye di bread pa but the question is obi a wo ye O positive no white bread in your mouth make white bread is the brodofita no in your mouth. because already nangaza no who ye nipa bi a who produce a lot of acidity enti se who di bibi nso a no nso na digest ya on glucose content no was no a okoya na za obai the road ye metimi aka ne se eye St. Louisa Herbal Clinic ye wadioye eye na wotwi ene na wotwi etoato yanim ede kono ye what you call community sensitization wo community ane yaba ye the clinic na ba o doorstep na wotwi we no ye Atomic Junction ehonomo ana St. Louisa doctors ni nyina ebeba na oba ye wo all sort of services wo ho ye blood screening wo honomo ye labs bia wo pe bia no the machines are available ubetumi ayedey aba na ya hwehwe wapomuden na ye de ye acupressure ne ye homeopathy way of healing no e dia san yare bia no obi pesu obi tikam pesu sie nti St. Louisa Herbal Clinic ye numbers no enie 0246 24 another 2 343 0246 42 343 and your sounds 020 76 76 197 St. Louisa Herbal Clinic ya ye kan enye neopathy no se obi wo ho no ma o yareba bi etwi ate se bia wo typhoid a obeba se wo typhoid abra se wako ni akadro se onwa eno nso bra ana se wo any chronic disease bia na eno nso oba ye behwew ana afe wo liver disorders obi wo ho no ma wa come ya diagnosing is a liver problem oba St. Louisa Herbal Clinic yen yakwadre wo san emanum ati said the American no ye be use our homeopathy way of healing any acupressure na ye the address san emanema we nyina emre ya bronya ebe enipa bebre ana wo ma dwene se omu bedi de doctor kra gadrom zemuni but ebia ye bedi bronya na ewie bi kra no ani this and many others in year 2 and Safra was there as a Sauba St. Louisa Herbal Clinic now ye church or kwanya ube to me any ache now because ye say any power way we are unim de obey day renya intino we ana ye culture was there ana Saturday bia no so no ubia walking into any branch of St. Louisa ye enkran hanomo taifa bokena Mr. J honomo ukokuma senso a ye wo maxima tech filling station honomo affordable housing wa ubewura honomo bia no any services bia bia no eye weekend no eye reduce yateso eye day e the amount bronye ye nam ti uwo honomo na hu St. Louis banana no aptwa for honomo te said the make say na watwi ye hunu say nipa 10 bia o mu begina wo bia no ba ko e wa asichire yare bra na yenye wo free screening with sugar test free enye dey emfama wo enti no se hunu say St. Louis aba wo mpotemu abra se wonti say St. Louis aba mpotemu nso ahwehwe yachi na ye numbers no enie me sanso esiso eye 0246 ye wo 24 23 43 ana 020 76 76 197.
Okay. Eti openi mo number no anu no hu.
Me pa to
ai. Ti ba ku bi mami asana wako.
Yo, your number no ye 0246 24 23 43.
Okay.
0246 24 23 43 020 76 76 197. St. Louisa ebie na pno atu no yare bia wo bia no odi ebra ye wo hunim de ase ye betumi ade atu yare ase na St. Louisa wo hoi entini tochema ye St. Louisa enti ye hwe wanim se bronyan obeba no abedu ayaresa e wo St. Louisa Herbal Clinic dero medase
doc meso medase papa ebusianti ye name St. Louisa but the name Dr. Boatin Dr. Boatin Boatin doc medase pa nyameka hu chawusia tu anamu na yare de se ton yare na wonya no aduru nti wan sori a ebeka o me asia no bi send me statement honorable Matiamidu issue endra 14 or say President Mahama bears direct responsibility for the Airwork Stadium recruitment stampede. Na adi odiba yi ema me kai yenu achenkwana na ya achenkwa kan no Kumasi a ye stadium disaster ne ba ye koche no the same thing na Matiamidu kan. So we wait and see say Matiamidu se beka koche no a me pebre na me yesu na makenkan unum say Matiamidu so de otra ya na ewa on the ontron ketua o table funti me ko Dr. Bano ho na yenyi budget sem no e free ho me wi ana me ne class prefect no so ahwe ni wechi doc nene Endra ene na nsa budget no e bai ebi so we the budget we die me na me monitor social media ebi say Atuforcing has made nonsense of Bawumia and Kanoforiates economic management team. Ebi so NDC is a party of construction. Ebi say about the neo question the nyasum ketwa. What is your assessment of the 2026 budget as presented by the finance minister 3 days ago?
Me da say me na Dawuro anope me chair with TFO nyina. First of all, I make kind of say we share a 2025 budget and that in only 3 days or so 2 days ago
2026
2026 budget a year honorable finance minister co-presenting my parliament na me kind of say yes ronko and free budget a year we kind of for that co-present in year November 2024 yes I didn't know make us on the Dawuro, one of the things about Ghana for NSA say ye obi kan bibia document na nipa no ekasa film no ye fa no brofo na wo kan ye no but e basic asem to ya the bia make say it has nothing to do with grammar sikasem to ya is about numbers inti numbers no ene Bɛkyerɛ say ye bibi sronko ana se adedada na Dawuro ye
okay
se ohwe eye budget atofo ko kaaye na se memfa de enti ameka se enye bibi stronko free de kanoforiata akakan dada ne se ohwe de bi ti se eye 2026 ubehu se adia over the years eno na edi aban sika yi pa na se fe government expenditure eye number 1 item ayi nyina yi ni mu no eye saade na 2024-2026 no number 1 ade ya making a compensation of employees
okay
and we have 2026 budget na oko appendix 3C economic classification of central government expenditure a year payment of wages and salaries under compensation of employees in Kwame 81 billion we enusufuru wa Dawuro just as we do from a kind of Foriata budget or present here in a 2024 no. The next item liner and also baby abansi kapa we aketua di tua adwuman for car if you are a Dawuro interest payment interest payment ye besia ya boda da ensihu a ewosi etua na ahame de ma na yehu kura kakra wa ha ne say this interest payment ya budgeti interest majority no out of the 57 billion Ghana cedis no 50.1 billion sika tua interest that has been accrued from domestic borrowing. It is also a signal to tell you say most of these domestic borrowing treasury bills are buying issue na you say NDC are buy within their first 10 months omu issue cry I'm sure say they've crossed the 100 billion Ghana cedis threshold.
I see
enti eno tira say aban no so buy domestically wa bobesia kasiye ye in addition to near hodada enti no hwema out of the 57 billion ye the more 50 billion in a service interest accrue within the domestic market.
I see
and also ade a ehuye pa na and somebody will have to send you all kind and no dance. My Sabbath answer so. Dawuro, you are to forcing a creative impression. Be say Ghana, ye bet are falling from a year 61.8% to a year 45% of GDP. Now, I know see I am a person make France and I'm a circle back to budget in there are two main things that drives debt. Now, you never say from 2022 to date. Yenko international market enko bobesia. Yenko bobesia.
Yes.
Baby.
Yes.
Another thing, so say a car na ye dear no. debt accumulation a make no a car near dear no near friend accumulation which is a car would dear a dawa a simply that anymore. Under the Ofori-Atta led debt restructuring. Sakano yidibi eche. So there were some of the cannibal we only needed to enter into some bilateral agreement with nations such as France, China, Germany, Britain, or more market cahono. I agree in principle now some amount to be on my way. You can say you're at to force buy no or be inherited. Within these 10 months, you who with Britain, you who with France, and the account. And to what kind of would you know? What suspended debt payment and maybe Emma cahono. And not as one of the things. Now we debt is also a function of your GDP, most importantly. Say, GDP will see a boat now or mine munino. And on as a worker, that was a sea and say, be me come on and cost rodia. Next, with GDP cost automatically, it's a debt as a percentage of your GDP at the bottom. And to me, my example, this so Obekaya, last year, 2024, there was a publication where myjoyonline.com. And I go more than Ghana, oko the same myjoyonline.com at the or say Ghana's economy estimated at 1.17 trillion in 2024. Okay. And in 2024, near cross that trillion margin as far as our GDP in Ghana cities is concerned. Okay. And to the moment what can it be because of debt restructuring? What it simply means is that fat debt as a percentage of GDP, what can automatically a better form. Now the so your appreciation of your currency. Now appreciation of your currency two ways. Say local currency appreciate against a foreign currency. In your city term, in your local currency term, your debt will automatically come down. Okay. But at the same time, convert it into dollar term, your debt goes up. Okay. And my example be, at first say your total debt, is 630.2 billion. Now this 630.2 billion. So divided by an exchange rate of 10.9, a bema of 57.7 billion, which is far higher than the 47 billion that the NDC inherited from the NPP in dollar terms. And to say, we are resuming to pay our debt, a chunk near in dollar terms. What it simply means is the city in actual sense will be under pressure because you will require more city to get dollar to service your debt. That is what it means. And to where you just numbers and a year play with it, it does not necessarily mean in real terms, your accumulated debt, which is denominated in dollar terms, form, which is not true. Now, what is the danger even in this? The danger in this, and I say, sir, optics where munina is coming at a cost. Many other make optics. What do I mean? The only person me said, say, offer a year Ghana.
If I know, yemi a man come for.
And finally, say, Pintimamento.
Massa would defend no Bobo no
it is coming at a cost. That be one amount for customer, who's amount for be Casse, MPP for Pompey, 7.4 billion good can imagine and the Obeka says maybe yes. Oh, and the problem is that we don't also take our time to peruse documents. And no name me how kakran the work. Say offer sir and then and done it be 2 days ago. Me who someone for show Facebook now. Headline is say Dawuro. There is a headline, and I want to correct a lot of misconceptions this morning. Headline is say myjoyonline.com. Let's have story with. I say Bank of Ghana has injected over 7.4 billion to rescue city since 2022. That is the headline. Okay. Now Dawuro say, who can headline? No one could read numbers now. The that can say budget TDR. We say we making so many misinformed conclusions. Now, uko sa document ni mu a omo sa document no omo share no omo de omo mie no omo nko into the detail of the document. We say there is a heading be was sa document here actually say Bank of Ghana Forest Injection since 2022. Now, o share sa data na sa data free IMF and at myjoyonline.com for say oma extracting. Okay. It is a Dawuro even if yes the sa data we ekra eye juma. This is the reality on the ground. Dawuro over a year 2022 the total amount of dollars MPP injected to more or less support to cushion the Ghana cedi was 1.9 billion. In the same data, no, over 2023, 1.1 billion. In the same data, no, over 2024, election year, 3 billion. And cumulatively, no, for the 3 years, no, if we are going by this data, no, macro call for social media, no more China, it means in the 3 years, no, from 2022, 2023, 2024, no, the MPP spent 6 billion to what? To cushion or to shore the city. So, fast forward, they compare 2025. Data from ABO, because first quarter from data from IMF, they spent about $4.55 billion to support the city. Now, over October, about 1.1 billion, and now for November, so about 1 billion. And cumulatively, no, within the 10 months of the NDC, no, in power, no, they have spent per. Maybe I'm not even going to the excesses of the data. I'm just going strictly by my data now. Almost okay. They have spent 6.55 billion to support the currency, as against 6 billion that the NPP spent as far as this data is concerned for the 3 years. And that argument is even a non-starter in the first place. You don't even visit it. Because we'll be spending 6 billion in 3 years. No, we are spending 6.55 billion in just 10 months. How do you want to see that quick drop? It is that 6.5 billion you are spending in 10 months. No? It's one of the reasons in here that quick drop in the exchange rate as far as cedi no now into the dollar no is concerned. Now way and makers way one of the reasons in here. In city terms, no, because the city no ahode akosro no, and they say also san waka wo dia no in dollar. Now what the back city dia sikano ebe kofom. And Ramete say former finance minister a raise the issue about IMF regulation of this government and the spending. Yeah. Adetina we in IMF enkan ho asem. Dawuro IMF akan ho asem so bekaya somewhere in July. And ba say omo be for a year assessment na abana withdraw on back no be agum so adetina IMF ain't keep your money in check. One will say men can say being an economist, let me frank here this morning, men can say wo and a way and will be just as send your doctor betna he and wa ka kire wa wo yare ne seminua eni anwa say doctor na ba no ba be you reviewer no we jam ready. The doctor no ayo review you know he bibia so ampa say your cholesterol level akofoma no wa sha say e di ama Dawuro doctor na wo ye na say wa wo ya na wo ye o we dey miss no I say this so wa na wo person wu excellent enti de eye BOG eye no e say bi onya IMF na wo ye no eye ono e na wo ye no ho adenti na make because the baby say ho ne say you are spending 6.55 billion. That's still now exchange rate is approximately $11 cedis to $1. In essence, on the average, every year, we need not less than 6 billion in order to keep the city stable. That is what it means. Now, question I want to say, looking at the structure of our economy, is solely dependent on gold. Say a gold windfall prices. And untina ama sika ye nyina ye nya de etie it is a wo share the same budget no kra. Or catch now say GDP growth in 2025 hugely backed by growth in the gold sector. By about gold contribute to about 33.6% in terms of overall GDP growth. We do maybe I'm person me go into details baby I go the ifi because you nim do na baby if say galamsey gold because almost gold board no say what offer license buyer. The question is license buyer no when one also air traffic no do you have the means to double check obi a license buyer need to go the next one na into a one point there I don't want to go there but the data actually say 54% of total gold exports in local small scale and 85% of the small scale so galamsey into obviously say na say good. Now, Dawuro, see, the danger here is, I mean, who say is it Forbes or one of those institutions early last month? Sunday one, I think it's Forbes or something, Forbes. Almost Sunday one, and they say Ghana is treading on a thin line because the economy currently is depended solely on gold. On the Dawuro, as of 2024 December, time MPP fresh on. Now gold on the world market was trading around $2,300 an ounce. Now, fast forward by February 2025. Now gold are rising a little over 3,000. Any I can say gold is hovering between $3,900 and $4,000 an ounce. In essence, let me say gold exports are in 2024. Say ye increasing. And they are maintaining the same output of gold exporter because of the rise in price. We may be getting about 2 times the revenue. Now, one of the things that is also happening, as I said, and there will be some question be, we are in your intro, no, because I didn't MPP anye. Now, one of the issues a woman say, because say, MPP called Johnny IMF, no, there were some fundamental conditionalities. Now it was a MPP, and I said, let me not say MPP. It was a Ghana a BT because MPP the Ghana and they called Johnny IMF. Now one of these fundamental conditionality, let me say, now was say to me build your gross international reserves. Sikana sebio yesi NSA oyeni yebi emmo but oyeni yebi beba na yentumi nye sika mfiri bebi eno ni betumi di etwitwa ye ho no. Na e was say e wo former my me set me ko Johnny IMF no na ya about be say 2 or 3 weeks import cover. Yeah. Per the IMF conditionalities no say build it to a minimum of 4.2 months import cover. By the time NPP fee akonyemu no na ya exceeded that threshold. May I take it? And as far as the NDC the Akunyana is concerned, that pressure to build reserve no okay. Let me be blunt here. Because the existing reserves no that 8.98 billion at that time no cover more than 4 months. The same said 9 billion. 9 billion. This year, someone will be 11 billion. Yeah. And this is just within 2 years, from 2023 to 2024. And NPP build our reserves. And the whole of this year, and this is just 2 billion per. And I come home. And it is telling you, so while MPP in a year was cumulatively building a reserve of more than 4 billion, the NDC in a year is building an average of what? 2 billion. I know the scan could be building reserve, no? After something economy. Yes, indeed. It is that person in. And secondly, because of debt restructuring, a both Siakon didn't TG MPP abandoned the Tikodi at Remai, a debt restructuring, and Tigana for 2 abetiana, and never knew so yes, suspending your debt payments. Yes, sir, a big crow, you say here, so to say interest payment and a range around 9 to 10%. No, yes, sir, MPP for Sakura negotiating by between 5 to 6%. No, and this sir, fiscal space, MPP are buying, and Kufuado no Balmia Denuno, a creatima NDC. And the NDC ebe full akunyano. Sa pressure so maba omo demeka egumisono ebineso. And secondly, by divine or whatever intervention that I don't know. In terms of world market price of gold nonsono, omawa da tunu bra gold nso ebo was so because of ayaye nia Donald Trump ne ntokwafu a on China ne the advanced world na eku. Now, because of this trade war, investors globally any confidence in stocks, because stocks are companies. Companies, it's more or less shares. It is a company, because of trade war, there is uncertainty. Say, and yes, sure, say, because you will make profit in 2022, 2023, no, over making it this year, and I was semi-fat baby, made to me, I invest in Misika, a hot dear, me assure, say, it will be hedged against risk. And a gold, and so one of the commodities, a lot of people find value in it, because yes, gold, the emperor. And one of the reasons why ama gold demand akosra enuntino ne buano akosra Ghana ene amanya ye konton gold no ye nya sika bibriu efimo enti the ekoso kakra e wo sa sector no enie enti so obi bisa say ade na MPP anya. The question is na MPP emphasize eye sika yi a make na reserves yi na komo wo ho kwasen ko omo betumi dey support currency no but because of this conditionality are making it no the MPP did not have the luxury at that time say na over $4 billion na in a year or the go central bank no obeka se bi pia e dey gu your friend is saying
yes MPP for the omo pa memu frenchem do omo pay ni ma memu enti na du ba bi na so mo yehu bibi kura no a one typical example me hu say aban na dey asem say or ma ECG revenue moving from 700 to 1.3 billion. Meanwhile, as at October 21, 2024, and Kenofurata a report is
1.3.
Yeah, 1.3 billion. And now efficiency better new meters. Yes, one of the major drivers. But no some for punish MPP for it. Say omobobo is same both meters. But today, at first in Abetuska.
Na question also be say ho say all kind budget no no kasa ono na NDC no e was so clear one intervention NDC aban dia bante nunti na nunti na be ha make say program me work akra even including yemu be create so called intellectuals no. We don't go into the details of the budget
but is that not the reason why in here SNPP for esusu homo ewo sani mabise ho say mo so be share the optics because mampani ko for be share economy fe 1 to 1 ba Ghana for say konkonte bo aidin eme eto abati MPP ko tena fi NDC buy and ode eka ebe say economy no ene mampani akufo ado the same thing aba share economy ya fe on say space aba mo so mo ko market akobo be sia enti waja hoyi ya no mo so abai enu bire on be fi aban makọ by 2028 no my o man susuru
and David what can dey no correct na sani ya what can no say unim papa omfomra na me can say MPP no yende because me MPP me dem fancy na me nyo mo ba ko tena be bia ka say me neutral me neutral yes I am a university professor but I'm not a neutral I can't be neutral I don't believe in neutrality ebe ma me tikura pai me. See, the problem, let me say, MPP as a party, no, we believe in transparency and honesty. And until a year call election, Yankan could intro answer Ghana for. And until a year call elections, your flag bearer, Dr. Mahmoud Bamia, a kind of relatives, and you will be to media aye, na ye free baby and yetina. Obi be share bo, say Obama 24-hour economy. We be the budget in the man. Ena ono ankasa ne first budget na me ma history bi kakra Ghana for ya muti a me ma history bi kakra wa ha adana me wo read a TV back so na me ma that history the offer under the Fourth Republic Dawuro me yi Rajeri John Rawlings free mo anya ne baby coffee because ono the transition free military rule no obaye ena o mebota file say in omotomo for say into say o democratic person or contest say ena o wini say oyi onu free ha one are the opposing views and as a political parties are one more abba afterwards one more action based on political manifesto the other kind of flagship programs no me magana for as me cast in because 2028 na me ado me nyina tin comment be be saba che Dawuro me mfa yewura John Ajekumkofo because ono ne tumeje franka e free NDC sin yewura John Ajekumkofo Sama obo entwa 1999 2000 se Ghana for ntwa mana then tell me be afini na me say we GH so sen asama na o kan say wo hwe Ghana ha ade ba ko edi enya ayaresa nti e wose etumi de friend say apomudi ensi nchire ba eye national health insurance eba meboa Yewura Kofo ebe win elections in 2000 at 2021 yes sorry 2001 is sworn in as president. By 2003 I stand to be corrected. Now the flagship policy here apomudinsi by health insurance no was said Numa from 2001 ama by 2003 no now it's into full force anameboa. So oye Yewura Kofo free honoma. The next person ono so buy ya ono so ebe share bakasi a ono so my the friend self flagship program e won manifesto eye papa John Evans Atamilsa when you baby member.
Yes.
That's our program anything.
One time premium.
So one time premium. Also, no the year present for health insurance on other ban will be a check a crano. Or no, the obeying once to say, oh, ban and I would triaman and one on a craning tribune copy say, obeying our work or cran abrewa, no few years ago. Papa ebedi to me. Any afiba kuminu entem and obekacha say asem no kind of one can ye Ghana from Fancham. Meboa.
Yes.
Ono fi ho na yewra John Dramani Mahama no ene vice. Ebentu ana mamuso. And ono nso ebe share bo maybe I mean kasa mpo the flagship program on the emisend e bo keke bi no no se. O say obeye ni e friend say community day schools. Meboa.
Yes.
And obeye bibi e friend say free progressive senior high school. The at the time I will fear about so in 2016, what was the state of community day schools? Now, per Auditor General's report, not more than 23 of these community day schools have been completed. And we said, we are fully completed, and 23, if my memory serves me right from the document I read. At the same time, this free progressive senior high school also be implemented. The same Auditor General report by after 2016 tells us that there was a CAC 55 or
380 million Ghana cedis.
And the trajectory of promises of successive governments in the history of Ghana. Yura John Dramani Mahama fi hona Yura Akufu Adobai. Na papay airborne to ano so ono crowd was started from 2007-2008. Adi ano so Esha Ghana for bonus Ghana for to abama on the dena come so be any free senior high school. Papay Ghana for eto abama in 2016 December. 2021 2017 yes sworn in. Dawuro the first budget, the first fiscal policy, Papa no allocated over 400 million Ghana cedis to start a free senior high school program. By September 2017, the free senior high school was in full-fledged. And John Dramani Mahama, His Excellency Part 2, Asaba. And a war ban was share Ghana for boss with the BBF 24-hour economy. A year 133 into a year Abedjuma. And I say, Minia Baya, and I say, Minia Abemua, a secretary. Secretary no Obako Anopa, Nunsia, a Bobby S and no doom Bakon Edequa, Wapon, another one Babitrim, a Bobby S and non soon the corner watch, I will be coffee, now will be a Babitrim, or no Sabe Pima Martinez and a payable. Yes. And the first fiscal budget, I would do to 2025 budget now, you are to force in Becca. Now, I was there, Mediama and the young women, crashes in the morning say, oh, for NDC as a government, they technically they are left with 2 years. Yeah. Make 2 years, so what do I mean? Technically, no, they are left with 2 fiscal years as far as budgeting is concerned. Yes, that is 2027 and 2020. And to the first 2 years, of implementing 24-hour economy, you must say, and what makes a policy be a free education time and for start here. Any time we fear them crash still not issues about the policy no intimate of but where the enya crime party and a year go sit down on a director me boss e will free state secretary on what the pay catch somewhere early this year say aban be here about $4 billion now make na kasa $4 billion and $4 billion and dollars asem na $4 billion asem na eno kra no sa asem no me din makase e ambiguous I didn't na mechanism. Because so offer omunche mo de Miami about the 24-hour economy now. Omona yet say 24-hour economy will be in 2 parts. But when say abenduma for adwuma abenduma ni bia ye no ye be manipa miensa ayese adwuma eno ye one. And the other part no ye private sector say ye be ma private sector incentives, be it electricity, be it utility, be it tax rebates. Send ye be ya a private sector no ebetuenya awonhanhan no afa nipa bebre and the so be catch say we here $4 billion. The most important question I mean bisa papa me say me bisa na sa today to me response and say sa $4 billion no is it a budgeted amount one ye be for mama ko run 3 shift no and ye di ko tua won ka bosom yana and I say electricity and water ye better so boom 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 e dey ma private sector no mo share bo no
adwuma na dwono
eno ena aban nam se losses bebe munti aban age say sika no dey call augmented that losses nana yenim he couldn't also explain to us now be it as may say ye have $4 billion any idea 24-hour economy Dawuro what kind budget na to force me kind na o sika ahe any allocate ama secretariat no was it 100 million for $4 billion.
What's 100 million?
100 million cedis.
Sorry, 100 million cedis. Fact man, make our dollars a fact me. For function.
100 million cedis.
Man can you create for? And your dollars. I'm say me quoting $4 billion dollars into me quoting me. But 100 million
Ghana cedis
out of $4 billion dollars. And your 100 into who be sound say. Me say 24-hour economy. I be say sebi a joke be and a buy me then ebedi. As far as a Binance flagship policy is concerned, na Ghana former bunu ento abamano, na so mo to abamano, omba benye edwuma bebriaye, no mo tumi ediye wo Ghana no. Sa policy no anasa sa botaye no. Sa budget mienu a NDC aban abeka say aka mo budget mienu penaka because 2028 there is out. And yet 2028 was last time in government and Abaka so be implementing any 24-hour economy we be allocated $4 billion to that day. And technically no, the NDC is left with just one fiscal year, which is the 2027 budget. To show to us that indeed, 24-hour economy no, and your phantom to send an year canana. Now there let's go into the fiscals. It is very important to say amount forecast at forcing as far as the management of the economy is concerned. Now, Yemfa 2025 fiscals a few pointers and indicators. Na YMBC and one says, ask me a yekin or a no crack and I say a yakushisem. Mimia, so offer a year 2024 budget. Industry sector. Industry, a one to the Juma, ewo, minia. The so-called criminally managed economy na Kufuado no Dr. Bamuba Medija NDC be catch say yo man peniko jina parliament catch say a criminally managed economy no. Industry sector witnessed a growth of 7.1% in 2024. Dawuro, the best managed economy under Dr. Atoforson. Industry growth are now 7.1. I decline currently Ababijana 3.6%.
7.9.
7.1 in 2024. 3.6%. And I am in Okase. Dawuro, say what the industry eton China construction. When say to Chromia construction, where to Walasa mason for carpenter Juma Wada for in Sanu Juma for be brena are into the construction sector. And wanna be brena we industry for the Juma if you are once to any a Juma ye. And they say yeah about yes sir ye beg nyine economy no. Nasika abagana fobo toma no mo tumi enya adwuma ya menua sa enioma mienu no untumi enyi nsinchen ema ne nyi eno ye true of the yasika ye de be mehye any government say o policies and programs a wodi egu akwan mu no eyade a eso abapa amagana fo menua de ro so offer a construction sector again. In 2024, construction sector under a so-called criminally managed economy grew at 9.6%. And now, Minuka said, construction sector growth is 2.9%. From 9.6 to 2.9% there. It is a amount these indices are. And yet then, obitumi tina baby kachre me say. Based on these figures, I say, ato force in budget or present, per the 2025 fiscal year, ato emomu manage economy no better than near Dr. Babu Bamiane Nane Kufuado Edija NDC. What is Hasimia Sia? It doesn't make any economic sense,
Okay.
Now, a Biamunso American was some Dawuro. In terms of expenditure, echo for anything. Some sectors of the economy say offer to say government spending abana nkasa sika osi obedi or they call office of president in 2025 office of government machinery and as a presidency. So Ghana for the car, yeah, sometimes you know, it makes me want to sometimes hear Benny Tipaye. Ghana for say, Nana Nekufuado aban a bloated government. Meboa. And untino, Yewra John Dramani Mahama. Ebe promise what he call lean government.
Yes.
Now maybe a bloated and lean mentias say a bloated government is a binus for there. Then it's a sika bebre na ni di betua manfo ka. The taxpayer ni sika any di tua Ghana for ka. Enye sanity.
Yes.
Any a case lean government. Then say taxpayers sika na nka first ndi bebre tua eye wo mo ye adwuma office of the president no one a okeka ho no. Ye te say sika no so na ama taxpayers so ho ahehan no enye sanity. Me nua yenko data ni mu ne ye sanity. So offer a year compensation for a year Benjamin for under office of the president. When you are there, I went last night. Make an amendment. Then offer 2025 budget. A year appendix 4A MDA expenditure allocation 2025. So for where 2025 a year budget and I make one thing. There. Sika almost so mudi tia abai eduma foka wa office of the president in 2025 no na 362 million Ghana cedis. Then we go into 2026 and names abai on the promising lean government today. Na nka de ehwe enimu ne se enka se sika nkanya kura so beti kakra amai. Devru uhwe eye appendix 4A hwa biem in the 2026 budget. I made a budget me appendix is na me mekan. Me brofo na wum dey I don't need it because my case made my interest is in the figures. Okay. Devru offer appendix 4A MDA expenditure allocation 2026. Sir eye office of government machinery and the compensation of employees no says K free eye 360 million. I could do for 540 million Ghana cedis. Yes.
Yeah. Meanwhile, initially in Sukromo Kache say national security budget as a presidency. And this time, my allocation for national security.
And yet, then I say no, I didn't 360 million. 540 million. We yank every honorable finance minister. Technically, no, and this is based on my own understanding. Most of the recent appointments or make here, yes, ministerial appointment. No. Technically, no, it is equivalent to ministerial appointment. And until Namas incentives, they have had to adjust ASRCK from 340 million to 360 million to 540 million. It is a clear and it's a war share number. Make us say, or that me budget, and you have to force it. I can't know my Ghana.
Dr. Frank Bano, that's in Chimuna because see, or buy, or say, all appointed regional ministers. But we appoint all regional organizers of NDC, presidential staffers. Presidential staff and so, the rank said deputy minister. I dear deputy minister in Biano, or no Sunyabi, I can chiape, and any deputy minister no afano. And a KO the Numina, and I'm more pretty from the regional minister's office. To say deputy ministers now. Ejimia Minia Penny Hackman Kabori, Eastern regional organizer. You show Eastern regional deputy regional minister. A deputy regional minister because deputy regional minister office and a operative and Osanso Diakatuan be as a deputy regional minister and a KKD is a presidential envoy to the Caribbean. And yeah, she said, you can who I won't ask him. Okay, Dr. Frank Bano made us. Remember, I would do Mahama. I quite born a managing editor for the Custodian newspaper. Opening my chair.
And now,
a Biabocode.
Oh, Namia Domiti. Let us see.
Divine selection, divine selection. I can't. So we know so they won't actually.
Well, I mean, you say TV and you might be in the studio. I don't have a more Marcus.
I was anti me copy Taho. Now, may also met you know on the budget. Maybe we are Peter.
Kwaku, Mese Maniaji Zamahu Nepa.
Miss Maniaji.
You come on. Now, budget in San Semino. I won't say, Doctor.
Wamo omunta.
Oh David afile no omunya do nti afile na me mpa ni jaibo.
Okay.
So omunya no. Because now I time. Ni de onu OS o my fine pa.
Okay, all right.
Kwaku me chiefo bio ene ahwefo nyina. Na budget nsensem de adwuma Dr. Bano ayi o de buy ye no na ayese o ya ma yi no na me ka se nka ye de nka ye wo e form ho ene
say
doctor other topics
we bi mu ne bi ana wo ketua bi se
bi ka be ka won se budget no ye eso who say Dr. Bano call into detail near minya kwan enhwe ni nyina but kakra meka say ubisa nsem bi about the data so o hwe data ne dia na je say
macroeconomic
figures na o ma bo mo modern e wo figures ne ho ayisa but so ko
inflation macro say inflation
figures alaji mamen kama say mi wi a obenya obre
any exchange rate figures ni ne kaka
on the face of it obebo mo aba so say bia dollar they say ejina inflation
about
any ade
so that GDP so akofem
fantastic but what they fail to tell us no say ukomwa the MPP's contribution so untimi nyimfrim and Dr. Bano ball gold so I'm say wa cramble na Dr. Bano ball gold so on say even the dollar stabilization this week I think November 11th or so BOG issue statement minister Dr. Bano hu ya omo announce new measures ama ebuama city na gina ye be Christmas in it I think the third paragraph also mention the fact that gold purchase program no one measure one measure omo aya omo bekipu to make sure say dollar no be gina pa meanwhile no so sa ko hwe the gold purchase program na Dr. Zakari Mumuni on August 6 2025 okwa abrochire English abrochire kokasa program bi say Africa Premier Trade Banking Thought Impact Event na okokasa about gold purchase program and gold for oil matisem so adam for kra o ma invite
o mo kwache na nyeso mo invite no kra
na osha ni statement na and that Dr. Zakari Mumuni oye an NDC appointee oye deputy governor the mama buy o man de nako na onim say before me sa position be ma on unyo obi a ono madwen ekọ
so unya NDC ni
unya sa position no na tie o kasa in page 2 of the statement no o started by saying say the Russia and Ukraine war no are affecting the economy. I say most countries Ghana's economic performance face significant volatility emanating from the large external shocks during the 2020 pandemic, followed by the spillovers from the Russia-Ukraine war, which exacerbated pre-existing physical and debt vulnerabilities, rising concerns about debt sustainability. Into a say COVID-19 Ukraine war affected Ghana economy no. Abano say obey innovative in 2022. But 2022 ababa na nya mbi.
Kufu adraban.
We no say a strategic turnaround using domestic gold purchase program was implemented. Papa na ekasa o, ana NDC appointee. Or say gold accounted for nearly 56% of Ghana's total export earnings. And yet, until 2022 till gold had not featured much as an asset class in Ghana's reserve portfolio or contributed much to reserve accumulation, unquote. So we no, and I say, abayno at 2022, echo steady countries like Turkey, Mongolia, South Africa, Ecuador, Estonia. Philippines.
Okay, Estonia was taxed.
Consequently, the Ghana's domestic gold purchase program was launched in June 2021 to increase the bank's gold reserves by 100% within 5 years, which at the time was 8.7 tons. Now, before MPP abaye free abaye na gold tons no oma increasing no to 31.01. Say ne say gold abaya major contributing factor to dollar stabilization. Say ne gold CD stabilization me that say women na ya also here enye sa antokwa na ya me ko so ne gold asan be a major contributing factor to say rating agencies near the air predict economy ya me pa cho utmi yi MPP aban every man
there be
ebiewu I think say early days yet and bring mu ebenya bre akọ details say doctor ehwehwe mu kotu figures e chese me say officer government machinery cry scare call cry ehu any ade no ba unim ukan ne
ayi akala mpacho masendo adibi koka misi koka Peter
yes
share unse Dr. Mumuni koka say no
yes
11th August
yes
pacho melebo 1 and 2 the kind for 1 and 2 so Bank of Ghana
yes
on official Facebook page
yes
on update on official Facebook page
yeah
na abro mo update official Facebook page na call viral no
yes
aban nani anye ho nti
omubufu no
aban no bufu omuma omo hye omo emo mu yi aside no bodo tro no to ba na ya keep receipt da nti wo hwa on the butterfly one net so on the 11th August no aban ne say
na otia fees na waji receipt
nti at the CNAVERG 2025 in London Dr. Mumuni shared the bank's transformative journey in harnessing Ghana's gold resources through initiatives like Domestic Gold Purchasing Program, GDPP, Gold for Oil, Gold for Oil, G for O, and Ghana Gold Coin, bold policies that have strengthened reserves, stabilized CD, and boost
strengthen reserve of an American.
And was no say and about 3 policies: gold purchasing program, gold for oil, and the gold coin, bold and gold coin bold policies. So it means policies need a very bold that have strengthened reserves, stabilized the CD, and boosted investor confidence. It was on the 11th of August. And on the way to say solutions are born out of adversity, and Ghana's gold strategy is a testament of that resilience and to that resilience of the tour. So by no and then Crawfordshire say Baumia ayi ni nyina because our policy me saying imumi you know Baumia dia gold purchasing program and gold for oil, gold coin no the men who Baumia ayi mu papa on the 12 ade tie ni hu say omako sesa ade no omako editing
but in fact what kind of statement nimpo on gold for oil no
and you want know
say o the so for second one to so and second one ni on say afedie we yi a gold for oil ni gold purchasing program and you nyina dey from the same ayi no on so ayi ni nyina from we yi ni nyina from ayi na
teaching the women the way them say first one no 11 dey be hu
11 kind
but minimum that say
no the ade atia
and no escape the that's the escape
anti ukọ na kohwehwe this post 11th one na wu hu
and no dey be hu kind
we na be hu omko ye edit
for 2 year plus
and omuyi because of bold policies na womu any na so omko yi ni nyina afiri mu esa omaboba omi abaso no mu nim see keep receipt that here
this is very
interesting akala me that Peter Bachoto
so my point is that gold for oil so gold purchase program ni nyina aban bi start ya eboa ma economy ni nyina so bi a ene ehun faso aba no e wo se yehwe aban ni timi truth timi e kan kore kire na omenyehu na oma odi credit emma where credit is due even the rating agencies no wo hwe our rating economy no from whatever a year apeja and also ustutie finance minister oboso the economy na ye integrated agencies na ye dey ebo aban na baso so bo kaya but okofa omo reporter ya omo issue e kire oni omo nyina so ya omo gina so ntu e de bo abana baswa. For example, Fitch die ya hwe key rating drivers are Fitch digina so e de ma economy no is stable no. Baako edikan pa say the upgrade of Ghana's long-term foreign currency. We know say Ghana has normalized relations with a significant majority of external commercial creditors. Ghana restructured its $13.1 billion Eurobonds in October 2024. Patch October 2024 abamen na war power. Enya MPP abamen. And they say abamen bi aba. Now we restructure the Eurobonds 13.1 billion to the extent say omo di bi kura acheye. Na enne abamen na enya mfaso e wo so ama rate agency etime gina so e dey bo abamen no economy no say ejina. Sa abamen na a year sa restructuring ma $13.1 billion no. E course no. Mpacho yeyi ni eto nchen e sa.
Untimi nyino.
Na ne ehu ni say even banks say the economy now say na your banks no are weak after spending 30 billion. They say you say 30 billion, the so-called 30 billion no almost say ye fair no.
Yeah.
E dey bank restructuring.
Yeah.
Na nya banks nko because obet kaya na mo taka say 9 billion per.
Yeah.
Na
banks ni be here.
Na bank ni be here. But ato forcing in 2025 Bɛkyerɛ say ampa na nye banks nko a na mum na other financial services here dey eka ho eno no enam so ama ye banks no enya nyina so. In fact so wo hwɛ BOG Bank of Ghana o ma report o me de ba quarterly na okay the January 1 there obeka say dia na MPP na January 27th na governor Dr.
Addison no.
But that I'm not after now my point no nya enko start into because Dr. Addison no. But Dr. Addison said the banking sector continues to be profitable, well capitalized and liquid in paragraph 9 of the quarterly report of the buyer. Dr. Addison free one luckily and Dr. Asiama buy. Now Dr. Asiama buy no on also Bɛkyerɛ said the banking sector in paragraph 10 performance continued to improve.
Say one disputing here.
No real no Bɛkyerɛ say indicators showed overall financial soundness indicators showed broad improvement in asset growth. Still solvency. Banks now call insolvency ma do about or say can be boom na gubi no. After
bank na ya
governor say banks no are solvent. Ama liquidity and efficiency are there abem in paragraph 10 or in statement or issue here. So you cannot say abaya eja solvent financial service mao no sabi wanya hwe ana say in any case okay say MPP by 2017-2018 you say water ni electricity on so
yes. In fact, what electricity almost is between 17 and 30%.
17.5. Why didn't you say? Uti na nsukwa. I'm going to go down one and it is so. Uti na nsukwa. We also reduces electricity tariffs.
Yes, bullet.
March 2018. Oh
yes.
2017. Almost so. Ama NDC for no almost be coin. NPP say and you're sustainable. Ama 2018. Almost so.
Yes.
What I say? About we buy but electricity or matum 3 times or
yeah.
About 18%.
Or matum 18.
Yes.
Accumulated.
So but yema ebre. And just see because 2026.
Yes. In fact we are also expecting a major review.
Yes.
January.
Oh yes.
And then ECG for requested 200 and something percent. Yeah.
Never me na me the maximum by we. Okay say Dr. Atufo in call parliament in 2025. Or the budget call 0.152 till without increasing the levy. We will also review the energy sector levies, ESLA, to consolidate the energy debt recovery levy, energy sector recovery levy, that is Delta Fund, and sanitation and pollution levy into one levy, TO, and use the proceeds to cater for energy sector shortfalls and service the inherited debt service obligations. asmo ka che no say sa eslau then the energy sector no hu sense me kai wo ni ani nyina no on be consolidate say without increasing the levy mpacho somewhere after 3-4 months nye hona dum so levy buy one cedi per 1 liter. Yes, that is 4.5 per gallon.
1 cedi.
What do you say?
Yeah.
Let's give time a time. What do you say? Final point. Who mentioned BB about DDEP, Nenoma or Bosso?
Yeah.
In fact, the DDEP, no, the entire we should not be quick to be too happy. Say you bet celebrating the seeming successes near dinner. Dr. Asufos Nankasa Jitum in 2025 budget said. In fact, going into 2027, 2028, you know, the DDEP arrangement a year or my year now, ama abano high no because at least about $4 billion now. $4 billion or so, and no, or say going into 2027, 2026, no, abano be here more dollars and more money to pay for their debt.
Yeah.
Paragraph 69 on the budget of the core parliament.
Okay.
Mr. Speaker, beyond domestic maturities, Ghana faces significant external debt service obligations over the next 4 years, totaling 8.7 billion, representing 10.9% of GDP, with heavy concentration in 2027 and 2028. In fact, it seems the debt restructuring undertaken by the previous administration was designed to be 2027-2028 heavy. Aha! Just say no say credit no abanaje and the one about ato is force. What is true?
Yeah.
The dollar has stabilized.
Yeah.
It's true. But I think say or say careful because 2027-2028 you know or say abani be here more dollars
about $3 billion
to pay for
that. You know, okay, Eurobond no. Any debt restructuring needing in about $3 billion.
No, or say, in fact, or not, or chest 8.7 billion. 2027, 2028.
And I may make 2026 there.
Oh, okay. Aha. So, just say no, there is stability. Yeah, Bobby Abaso.
30K boom accumulatively, no. It is the equivalent of your current reserve. 11.5 billion.
11.5 billion.
Within 3 years, our reserve is gone. Once your reserve is gone, what it simply means you're going back to the IMF.
And that you cannot also be. First come share dollar. You initially look at they denied say governor be denied say
market force.
Market force. They were not. There are many quotations.
Right. And you all track in the bar.
City appreciation not engineered. BOG governor. Some of the until the Mahama press conference.
In fact, before then, now IMF about the cafe. Yes, the BOG is heavily intervening in the market. But among for still rubbish IMF the enemy because of that to IMF are buying a shining and and our president now beat the press. And was it is not due to any policy and not fiscal consolidation. Heavy intervention and
because in May 26th, in May 26th, Doctor, BOG governor, see this appreciation not artificially influenced, but a chair no President Mahama is some trouble no. DNA story. BOG has stopped intervening in the forest market. And when dollar started say Sahara Pejakakra. Let's give time a time.
Okay. All right. Peter and
to add to what many opinion can we breathing. And this is the point I love it all where who know can. This is the point Marizia. Me say, what is the opportunity cost of the excessive intervention in the forest market? Yes.
me say
and only idea man phone te ase to kan no mu de insult you
obi say or train IMF be fi economy no one on the all train or say or train the IMF ebe exit say ye program ye wi nti omukọ
so
ni ahwedi bi
nti say maka throw dada to say na me kan e be sipita some kind so say our economy a pumping over 7 billion. Now our exchange rate is still hovering around 11 cedis to $1. Was say with that 7 billion, the exchange rate will go out of bounds.
16.
That is what he's telling you. To send a Peter within from 2026, 2027, 2028, we won't have that fiscal space again because not all our debts agreements has kicked in. Enti sanya ye kan amanfo di atemune no sesia ne branka saa 6 billion ya ye hwie gumi en consent ye de to Bank of Ghana na kokum na dru brena ope accident den na 83 kom emefa Ghana for but what kan amanfo ntiafe so enti peda rough estimate you kra mo kra ma we don't even need to yam fan on the face value side detail on one kasa kra de to him ukaboma over $11 billion. Your current reserves said that $11.5 billion. It is about CSC Yakaya DNA within this 3-year period now. It means that we don't have any reserves. And only the danger Yaka Ghana for NTS, you know. Now, my case is say about we are not careful. Now, or yet carried away, say obey engineer the forest market. No one shares the Kagumnas one build a buffer. One ride, you bet to your post 2028, I bet you the in 2022.
Doc, me that say, so I'm say, yeah, I am a phone idea, no, almost to tell me. Because two for now, soon, yeah, or train, no, who are there.
Last point. So, even projects are buying with years on by doing their mid year review policy, I am the call parliament now. Almost say a lot of projects are. Because of DDEP arrangement, now are buying any external creditors. Most of the projects are stand still.
Yeah.
And Dr. Tufos Naka in page 17 said Ghana's default on it, or say on 19 December 2020, creditors halted disbursement of 55 bilateral projects because of the OCC arrangement nominee external creditors. Now, also this resulted in several uncompleted projects scattered across the country and leaving a massive of 3 billion in undisbursed loans in between that period. No, but say because abino and the abino fee arrangement no
just like with the agreement.
Say no. Disbursement of Taska is ready. Now, share project on list here on the Babaya now. There's no new projects.
I don't almost say more a consolidated project. No,
Water River.
You might a lot about 4 lots for big push. No,
yes.
Maminko Ihomra, Maminko Raud Mahama Emra. Of any budget number. Minim Yansu home and an out year strike you.
Budget in the Amihu Yen they are more flamboyant figures. Yama figures near my bay. Say Ghana for near Japan. But you see, Ghana for Omunsusu, Nigeria or they should be measured. Jubilation or Moyeno. Osha 2025 budget, many Madame Fopa, Dr. Kessel to force in the buy, or Casso Bay near Mabi, and a Ghana for. Bosia, and I can say they were especially NDC4 say. But after a year no end no, I say 2025 budget on near my bench are no more. Me Majum the ma Ghana for and who say about we Jumapa me to me 2 issues. Mabo me inflation are say inflation move from 21% to 8%. And yes, and exchange rate and so stabilize it. Now, Omaka Mino, exchange rate no is obvious as me say Dr. Kotu also I know mo pumping. I've seen other areas almost 8 billion.
Ebi aka 8 billion. So far omade ta omode go up for now
yes.
I am not, I mean I know your others you're looking at other sources of the but don't show man strictly the na almost 7 billion.
7 billion in 10 months.
Dollars in 10 months and all they are stabilizing the city. And now so we know where the stabilization is coming from. The entire city now stabilizer no and magic.
And even the city no crown gold board.
Yes.
Budget allocation of finance minister here no. On religious kanema no. Na mo BOG and the finance gold board.
Yes.
We don't even know by direct BOG finance. We're only assuming.
Yeah, no, deputy former finance minister. I mean Adam.
Or
BOG na fund the gold board. No ko ekotia IMF agreement on money Ghana one. Okay. So he was raising the question why I said IMF is not regulating and making sure say BOG be financing of gold board.
Now remember inflation. Ghana inflation now bon economy say I mean too much you. My boy inflation about down. But it doesn't reflect on the market. Look, time inflation was 21% no. Now cement ball. Near year 2024 near year 108 cedis. Peter Tio so Titi say Tama inflation
Peter na finance minister na
Tama so no or challenge me Tama inflation year 21% na year dey no na cement bo na year 108 cedis ne cement bo inflation 8%. Cement price of cement depending on gas and diamond in there is between 112 and 120 Ghana cedis. The inflation no about form na inform na buy no what is the effect? Obi oton so far bottled water. Oh mo num so kra. The price of bottled water me pese me bobo mudi e wa ha. 2024 price na e to ene Peter onom bottled water pa. Ebedu baby kra no water nso no kra upa onya bi bottled water. So what is the effect? Inflation about from what is the effect? Dokuno a na 5 cedis. Na no boy in 2024 no a the campaign. The TV stations ni be your colleagues ni be. What is the price of kenke today? Inflation there bar 8%. No. What is the price of kenke today?
And the size of kenke
today. Yeah, per kenke pa no. Yenim. Say open size of kenke a ebeye to say the na 5 cedis to say 7 cedis.
Di benkunu size no.
So ashrenke in fact me meti ma bo baby a me to me banku e wo o kokwa benya.
Alaji baby e akomi ya me die mo kakra me ka chom say mo no a mo ye no mo wo ayi bi mo de no 15.
Yes.
Aka say ye to si auto 15 a wo me. Auto 13 so a untimi ni enti omo de omo nya no 20 man. Ye o medo because auto mi no untimi ni auto ba kon so a wo me.
Apart from this inflation no effect ni o inflation na about from it means the prices are reducing. Prices me boy they are
reducing.
And it is a common man omo see a line omo di dokono omo ye price na ma omo num so obi anso de obi anum bi every bottle water no num bi but sachet water no cra price na cost the bag and no cra cost. So what is the effect of that 8% inflation on the ordinary Ghanaian? Apart from that, who they could do na bisa omo market omo leader bisa omo say 2024 omo niama yeto at that time and whether people are purchasing, people are buying like they used to buy because kanu anyhow what suppress it economy no
ma me ba ko ada ko jaati o se ne ho 2024 now, not a horse cement near 80 Ghana cedis.
Yes, because they are in fact variation highest in a boy, you know, because the variation was between 85 and 95.
Yes.
I'm more 62.5.
Yes.
42.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, the highest.
The highest, you know, and I make the net lowest, you know. 95 cities,
which is higher than
the higher
figure then.
So that's why I gave a highest in Amema in 2108, no, a highest in 2024, and the highest about 120 Ghana cities. Yakoya and I buy. I've told you about market. The Ecoso market, J4, maybe say me wo mo di dwa ka jem say Antonio ma say amount for niska the beton yama. That is the effect Ghanaians wo yeah na say ko increase salary say 2020 say 9% na ye dey ma you ye dey be ma workers sky here na obenya e dey
obi say ba omi aka say asiwe nyina ba omi na ye okwa say aka na epe na ma mo na epe.
Okay, then let's come to 2025 budget. As you say, you analyze and analyze whether 2026 way a lot of the lofty now they will be achievable. 24-hour economy. Say what now 2025.
Yeah.
24-hour economy mark on one sem. Scout more release here. Yeah, saying
100 million.
110 million. Now, my to say, Madam for power, or say 150,000 nurses be backlog. They will not be able to take them in 2026. Now, 24-hour economy, saying, and you know, say Juma Baku 133. Na nurses no more 133 nimiana. If really 24-hour economy, that's where you know you're easy crowd. Because your hospitals will be crisis here, nurses anyhow. So if this omuguho, these are ready made. Hospitals were empty. 133 no to me use helpful, essential want to me use way experiment, want to me use next experiment to 133. There now bet my member 24-hour economy no. Say now almost cost here. The coordinator of 24-hour economy cost $4 billion. Yes. But now say a policy thinker, Center for Policy Scrutiny, almost your analysis be almost $4 billion in a understatement. Because OSHA almost tax incentives no mo debe ma companies no and no man cost no. Infrastructure subsidies o man cost any public investment obey to set nema obey to enable the private sector to take no man cost ni na do cost ni na e mo no cry be cost so out of even the 4 billion no sky no mo allocate here
100 million so one for the answer one back and wasem and so
just like omuga said 2024 women's bank and almost
50 million
51 million
and the so man this base
yes ne omasa allocated 401 million and no it makes sense if they will do say bank the
400 million
adequacy ratio no say oma
in fact, for a development bank, I think it ranges between about 600 to 700 or so million. Okay. Level so if you want to do a development bank, but it's not a normal threshold that we do.
But we there so almost say
seed money.
Seed money there to set up a bank.
Yeah.
Also the 1 million that's on the set up no the 400 na capitalize bank.
That one is fine. And no the SSA will release here. And a KPS one with the capital expenditure. About the anti-America way in an say figures in a boy 2026 I'll be a jubilator. We should look at the performance of 2025 budget to see whether 2026 budget no ebe almost keep a capital expenditure. Almost remember spending 11 billion Ghana cedis Peter.
budget where OSHA figures now released as of end of third quarter no Oma spending 3.2 no 11 billion almost spending out of 32 billion. Oma spending 11 billion capital expenditure out of 32.6 billion on investment. That is just 34%. 34% pay and almost spending. Big push. It's a big push in a major year way major policy.
Yes.
Bibi as say you be Rosso, you be hospital, you be a big push. Now big push no only say 2025 budget no. Mo allocated 13 billion. 13 billion. At the end of the year, as of time, now already budget, almost say 7.6 billion now. My committee. Commitment simply means me economists, but my understanding is Scabia at least I know they are the whole. Or more, I say, wait, yeah, the bet, yeah, the Bema. So,
you my
yes, I say on commitment basis, 9.7 billion. Oma committee and that is out of the Oma budget 13 billion no more allocated no. Meanwhile 13 billion no. It was just a fraction because that was equivalent of $800 million out of $10 billion no almost a big push. Now you have allocated only 13 billion in your first year. And even that, on our committee, only 7.6 billion. You can see the shortfall. Now, in 2026 budget, almost say, budget, now committee, they are allocating 30 billion Ghana cedis to big push. If you add 2025 and 2026, it means a total allocation is 43 billion. Peter, 43 billion out of 100 billion. Yeah, fan say CD near 10 Ghana cedis. Yeah, fan is apple. Yeah, fan say exchange rate 10 cedis. It means 100 billion in the 4 years. No, it will be 100 billion. Now, out of 2 years out here, you are committing 43 billion.
43 million.
43 billion. Okay. Big push, you know, 100 billion.
Okay.
For if you even take exchange rate of just 10 cedis, and almost say big push in here $10 billion. And I'm saying that if you work it out, it is 100 billion within the years. 100 billion. And I was first 2 years, you know, you are committing, you are allocating 43 billion.
Then we capital expenditure now, almost my rebranding.
One idea. It is still revolving money now, more committing because they are pushing all into their big push. Apart from this, you know, Oman said they have given contracts, so they are awarding contracts under big push 63 billion. $63 billion. Meanwhile, our allocation cry 43 billion. Kind of. Now, shortfall 20 billion. No? Is it really true? Say 63 billion contracts will be awarded or have been awarded when your own budgetary allocation cry 43 billion? Anyway, me economist, and so kasa economists are kasa na. OSHA expenditure me san ho e you know say government expenditure in total fell by 14.1%. Expenditure OSHA expenditure you know because of commitment in amount it fell by 14 point. If you have a budget, our total expenditure falling by 14%. Dog or you know the amount. It means that one time you never be brave. When I say me, Scar mobile boy, any Nelmon Bayano, I am not sure. Say 2026 budget, Dawuro. Nelmon Bay boy, based on their performance in 2025, I'm not sure. Say the Omo boy, but maybe I'm hoping they say. What does that mean free upper west? John Mama Kokati sword from I think from Techima to Wa. Also Kokati another from Wa to to move up to getting to Navrango. The bumper says a big push, you know.
Obetimi awia. Na oku kroma
na emera mami. E no there. The bumper is on Metima, but good luck to all of us.
Meda sebunya Alaji Awudu Alaji Kwesi Nyamayo. Ora Awudu Mahama and Martin Kan, managing editor for the Custodian newspaper, and Peter Ankama, and so a deputy managing editor for
Mobile TV.
So we are GTech phone too.
Dabi, but me ana me can say me Alaji no enye proper. Me ana me can wa ha. Mobile don't do any he say me you can say obi opeso oboa me so much say mama inaugurate president mama his excellency inaugurate hajj board
ntafi there say Peter this can
obi am be Peter
okay una can so the seed
money Peter seed money na so 1,000 club
I was there Dr. Frank Bannon economist and then lecturer ewo Gimpa no nkron aba pausema adunu enum your topics na carridos but budget no hu hianti you spending much time on the budget you was says nipa ese yekope soja edia emaiwa insia ahwero mu nkwa sad raba boni so yadina tumas chief justice na honorable Kenneth Japan aso so ni all calling on majority account for say they should reject a minority tribes na dey nti na eti o mai mu na majority mom ho kwan ma minority fo ehunahuna omo and obi bi say ade e share from Christian Muslim afedi do majority minority in baby e be honest but does it really matter say obi be dio man so a eso e majority ana minority ana na nya asem bu ebi na safma afokan na biribi atwamu a eho ba asem biribi na na nti ne nyina aka menim Dr. Bano ebre se wo de won chewo ho obre na ya so okay nti ende mame hyase ho na emu ne apeso fa bia no na ye monitor ne ko ene
we de budget men ka bebi ka wo fa 2025 budget na ukọ appendix 4A na
okay
no omo nchichirimu under Office of Government Machinery. Now you will be an Office of Research Department. You allocate goods and services.
Yes.
Any capex, capital expenditure, 20 million. Goods and services 50 million. A total of 70 million. The master office. Ubefa 2026 budget now. Now we call appendix 4A. Sir, Office of Research Department or the development. I disappear.
Yanvanze obi
eni obi
paso mmemi hwe mahwe ofosu kwa chide na mame
be patran
and so 78
be patran
is here
Office of Government Communication you man 78 million 2025 8 million for goods and 70 million for capital expenditure
paso this year
we also trika say and I understand the 70 million for capital expenditure now over 2026 this time around you money 50 million for capital expenditure and you money 8 million for goods and services and you money 23 million Ghana cedis.
We are set up ibishebim
so but the mimi
we there
and you better set office be for the first time you see office be the office of 24-hour economy.
I know you're different from the secretariat.
Where the presidency meaning Sani actually so
as a secretariat no
and over here
as a presidency
office of 24-hour economy.
I never come at
you allocated 70 million cedis and the amount for goods and services 20 million for capital expenditure
so
90 million for office of 24 24-hour economy now to date. A binding point to be made with the policy document or the year Juma. Seed money in power so Munya normally Juma 4 billion, yet 110. A dear fast for dear Ghana, a year to 24-hour economy going into the second year of the NDC government. Yet time taxpayers' money of 90 million Ghana a dear massa office. I never
consume and say, it was a procurement professionals, the main of procurement authority. A value for money.
Yes.
But I'm your budget say you be set up another office value for money office. And I was like, so what will be the purpose of and I said the objective of the creation of the public procurement authority? Yes, I be set up a value for money office. Now me say, hey, ayo. And Chebun say, because on us be an authority. Here benya value for money authority, duplication of portfolios. Eti dog me that say we you know dey for better train district na
Enkomia okay me say obody ehne dey
one na former recruit o mako nya akwansia
eno na mekana
okay
the two na academy jam
na Peter no
I think they are in the better position to do justice to those issues
mate
Dawuro eya asefem na eya reho say abanya ono ankasa as part of the campaign or catch Ghana for say na ehukure hiampo say police and say security agencies won recruitment forms for a betoni age Ghana for sika or buy ono aton oni yes slots na ye mete ye say the mete na me boa me pramoto mon correct me yes slots na yes 6,000 slots
yes 4,000
and one more forms of how many
60,000
for slot. It is 10% of the total value sale, and no any year ma as slots. Wosu na wosu advocate yes, and can who point here and keep top forms for those who want to serve for Ghana.
If I'm no me to say Peter, I say I'm 350 me wa. Yes, 350. 200. Okay.
And be with the Arab when I say this is the same abaya. Was share Ghana for
200 so more ton 12 million Ghana cedis forms
and they couldn't even
almost resist
for who
here for na muni
adwuma na yes say NPP aban too more than to say more ebe screening free no enede na menya ma wayete ana ebi mo ko train on national service so mo aduan kroma sorry Ghana fire service yes so mo aduan kroma for Ghana o ma na ntwe mo aduan kan ntimi de menya me na we nyina ye the settings and packaging asama ye catch Ghana for menti say de ye nimu na nimu ana awia no ye nso kane ya hwe nimu anajo papa wa bada ye nimu sane awote ba Ghana for enti ye no mo call so no mo to abama NDC abai and Ghana for bibre na anodem na are ho so say enipa etise se mabaya e mabawa fefefe a afi na wa fefe efrimu na won free mu mpo no yentumi mpo enya obi panyin bi wo mani mu ha na wa ma me gina ha nkasa oh we there I am addressing the nation as far as this issue is concerned Dawuro and only idea na ya ma rehuhum because we've seen incidents happen yenya eye empanyifo mo be address Ghana se menka ye ya anano eye nyamefo mu currency empanyifo bi a omukonya plane akwensia yenya office of the presidency mo address Ghana for
no class and company
so na emaba wa stampede you say about 5 are in critical condition per news document American yes 5 are in critical condition
na doc Marian Mofra 16 enya akwensia wubogu gender minister anko why not even a statement. It's not even a statement.
That's what you want to say. And these are the future of Ghana. And yes, I said you, you see, or maybe human resource, natural resource or one, and ye gold that work for more, and ye oil, and ye nipa. And nothing else for maybe to say Japan. Almost say, Okoha man, and they are even paying people, send a bear mobile. Because people are refusing to give birth because the nipano and the other imagine say and pay and imagine the gap that would have been created.
Many done so no feel be over come fan
so now I've say yes till date yenya wo bia asemba akokra me de me kan ya nka me buye fu yes me hu say me nim say yes deputy finance minister so say families no mo my free mo no they will get the
deputy defense minister Tibon Koso no a wa hwa masasin we asim
asem ka say asim amanfo ahwero mo de share te saa ebim ye university graduates omo ma me no papa ma tete omo nsem ahwe o mama ebim kra ba ko metine so ye adwuma bank bi GT bank mo fa nche me CBG and also ko ena wo ye bank
edana koma so be
obeye student no pe so ono so ko no ko try ewu the only sensible thing for you to say is say you be money family one slot. I mean, how insensitive can we be? To say me say you win elections in your power we are. Let you be demigods.
Now if you put the guy
Professor Patrick Lumumba said what we should know is that there is no wisdom in the ballot box. It will be a corny a club man no be a year and I know chess will answer. What do you mean? I mean how? How can you say that we will give them once? No, you see, that person or can't ask them. Say, maybe I saw resign.
Unless they are on a
deputy defense minister. No, on the kind. Let's talk about now resign.
Yes. In fact, that was my sentiment. Look, this guy should resign.
Boja Jeffrey's resignation, minimum nyadwe.
I didn't hear.
About me or menka.
That would
Sir. And my buy a woman Kumasan so yes, be so crime
and 5 he pry.
Not 5 are still in critical condition, never seen a young name of faith. Not the only thing for you to come out and tell us and say, you got my family's in a slot. Now be there who says our family of will be a name, and Papa Baba Penono and Omahereno. How sensible is this? A 2-man slaughter, none the banner where war. What say what the time ya be do this stage what say sika on what say bre what creating big vacuum o ma sa slot na sa vacuum na failure na it is a time ya Canada ene yen koso ne yenkum Ghana for say we are ne ya ka say family no ya mu bia slot into military and ya mu bia this they say yan say bi and I say governance has been reduced to the barest minimum in this country. As a sebi, you suddenly see a bomb crew. As a crow governance, and a year who will crew me Hanamusi. Obia near the position, Yamano. She said, as a near a greater Accra regional minister, some high. Anna, why? No, Mammy B. Ayamba. Put the Mammy B. Mammy B. Say, debe no mo ko ho nti o mi refi asem no ka bibi nyama eso ma me na parliamentarian
sa ma me greater Accra regional minister ne die on kan nya asem da oh sa ma me o ye loose talker
I read that and I was like come on
sa ma me
asem tia
also ba nya school papa ko pe classes man
no asem tia me ya o ni ntino. Yes, inti na penjifo se nyina nkran ne mu ntutu nkran ne. Inti ye wa asem bia e bia na nka bia obetumi akon. But na na asem na ya nti no ehọ na hyehyehye no se de ye nka nsem bi. Eno nti na wo tamfo kura se bi so free ma. The best you can do ne say obe express say oh ya akọ. That is the least you can do. Because wo de betumi atro bia. Now, on also said they were not supposed to go there. They say, assembly or kind of so knowing say that they were not supposed to go there in full batch, you know. And then I'm here to prevent them from getting into the stadium. But I stadium, I could be entrance in my man. I am here, and I to see the could be entrance, you know. And yet the state institutions they are responsible for Airwax Stadium. No could be here. State security so you who some of the videos they are supposed to put these people in check and I mean time a man for war me who video be a buy a young lady be all for war and hey lady now what you
soldier phone no mood soldier phone no mood din kola na tem no na me nwa no mood
let's stand be the best na the same thing na class or stadium yen kai ya nipa wuye no aye si obi atutu gate ma one gate pe ene etoto tia gas o munyina ewrem ene nipa tufɛ nipa so it's where you are seeing Ghana it's what lessons did we learn from this for me dear me one thing I will say me manu smeka say NDC apan President John Dramani Mahama Dano I was say eni na nimu yomode eye chopper mu otin ebre Ghana for any word I want to more this year say because of the carelessness of the government and its agencies this is data it could easily have been presented there.
Medasi, and pay Ubisha Imami say as NDC, John Mahama, Eba Ben Brivia, Tanya Black Wednesdays. In your first Black Wednesday, I think from 2012, around 7th November. Muka Malcolm disaster no. Emma Nipa Bugu then bugu nipa so about tomorrow many nipa wuye. The second Black Wednesday was 3rd June 2015. And also circle ejani so edi afra eme kum nipa no nipa sen de wuye bumbo 100 won nenu so kum nipa. And sana the 3rd Black Wednesday no Wednesday 6 August 2025 helicopter here ekwohwe ase wo Wednesday yes ewo obo ase pomu ho enu so nipa nwotwe ehwere mu nkwa na Wednesday 12 November 2025 ewak enu so emayo nsia omo so ahwere mu kwenum egu so eda conditioner anu otin enti ndc for Wednesday there eya hadwin kakra so ja ni nyina wo nyame nsem Peter amitiwe enti Dr. Bano yerasi
no yeah my friend no are hosem na eto o man no na anu wuku ada no na se nipa wusa you cannot justify it with bibia na nema ne ye are hosem pa ne se so Minister for Interior Munta Kane press conference obeye na o chere say no going forward and she say abani de gu o say omuma baby mmuru nipa 500 ko one time abi ava fezi be kwa nopa na bia ko ho awia na o matechem a number of days nso omde beye saa no afi so mpe baby bebre a ombeye sa screening exercise ne ade a na e kire wo say owowi it was an avoidable death na ka ensefe eba it is de na wo boss a helicopter crash de pep oh na ne man ya we ho sem ne say akoba say ne yesi say yeyi kwan na anka wo dan a o say kwan yi de etene papa mum say kanwa abusia ahwe omo de hye uko maame a ne ba ebia asem say akwakoto no nyoma omo fam sa abre no enye enigisem nanka this is the time that is where I'm tempted to also agree with Dr. Bano say the president and the leadership must show leadership, but I also say I say omufi say normal adeba those who were directly in charge you say yare assign o man say omo step aside e di bi yakọ dokofia nan yare assign o to other department here nika ye na ka obi ekotena fia how do you say as a minister now? Okay, as a minister now, the person in charge, because this is not the first time military, especially military, on my estimate. So,
the minister in charge of this recruitment.
So who was in charge? The person no in charge. And Cesar will reassign the keke. Also, what's in the fee? Because this is not the first time military.
By the way, Nepano or your caretaker minister. Was he really in charge of the defense?
But allow you say at the time, no.
Now when I'm blame
no, you see, and then answer me can say me the blame the Mama Penny Mahama.
Oh, Franco, deputy innocent deputy minister, no substantive
defense minister. I know you're Mampeni Mahama and I. And no man about Matia say, Anka me say we ain't see.
Knowing who he is,
and Munta Katiasi, who's an enemy be on last week to say Munta can say the promotion be by name, Kwemo or your checks. And one 19 I make can say deputy defense minister, no finance minister, na busier or budget, no. Sadly, we and some
responsibility, no. Oh, mama, no.
Oh, are you saying that for sure? So we need man answer what we're doing next. Oh, can for sure. And now what we're doing next.
Me say, Yembisa say, Yembisa before we call for his dismissal. Yembisa say whether he was in charge of the recruitment process. Yembisa, Yembisa Abain.
So who was in charge?
Now you were caretaker minister.
That's at the time caretaker minister or your budget.
You see the reason. So when people were calling for president to appoint a substantive defense minister on the floor of parliament, also I say we see the Babin Crab beside can say we should appoint it.
Yes.
All this, why is it that we say we have major military nyɛ te sɛ eyi o
defense nyɛ
defense yes a obi ewu 3 months
na wuntumi
appointing na eyi na wo blame poor defense minister
John Mahama will not have the moral right to even sack Bujajen.
Yes,
and that is the whole issue because
now no there now
only moral right because no na cause society we
say let's leave the young deputy minister like that or no onye body bia unless Mark say me say mo tell
the directives by say nkwara no wunim say
only responsibility bia nko no na akoka say ebe mo slot back
ọ na-edi anim
ọ na-akụka sị obi a na-ebi mo wan
and then policy
so you una asma
was he responsible for that one
it na asma we there
announce say onko announce say and that one too I have an issue with more disagreement with that
identity
to say obi ekoye and na obi ewu and I say as at least yen timi fa nipa no maba
yes
but matter of compensate at least something to assuage your
and a brace
yema one slot and I be beside no say ebony
Muhammad family Muhammad said Dawuro can you imagine in someone like Sam George okuje ta blakwa and some be den fi be kan sakasa se mo si
and no the Muhammad me no ya adwen pa hwe me final point unse branding ni won on the nkɔfo ngɔtwe a ɔmko wuye yoni mbi the president Mahama ɔdɔ mane de na nso ɔmane wuye no ɔya disappointed ɔmane ne ɔma ɔmo wuye so wohwɛ ekwan fa so a saa nkɔfo no ekɔ wuye a ebi mo aka sɛ ebi anka asojafo na president Mahama ma ba ya no ɔmo ekɔ fie no kana ebi mo ɛwɔ hɔ a kan man sa of course abai bi aba soja maybe 1 or 2 bi ekɔ fie but osha am say this time no it's unprecedented say the generals ne army here o makofie no de bibi kakra aba military ho
no enya omonko a
enya bibi kakra o bibi kese that's why I'm say don't put your this on the poor deputy minister
Peter enya omonko a
na the decision no so the poor deputy minister don't mean who free mo nti yakoba na kayesi soja for akuma koye bi
do you know why our constitution deputy minister where deputy minister cannot act
me to say bad tea anka koba yi ene ta soja for o ma koye bi na ese o man ni ye meje $100 million a ka boja je obi yin ho afiri mu se onka wana
na no o ko mention
no the government for some reasons yes asojafo aye bibi ana ye bo man na baso so asojafo ade o maye nti bi e mo $10 billion ga deputy minister ko bi mayin ho
so ka ba mo no ba our responsibility
say na no asante him
our responsibility
asante him wuyi a o kwa yi we hu sojafo na twa ne ho esi
na asama bade a
o so obi a hu asante asojafo na chief mesi bro
Muhammad asama o kan ye no senka asem we to Oman at the time MPP wa Bema. Kabati sama.
I know the babies with sharp TV nyina enim sa. They politicize it.
Jai, share. So share the report now on the bar.
Helicopter no man can say obi na dey acid. Any name.
Yes. In fact, the same do you okay do you have some necessary. Any regional
no only the regional minister ni nyina do there o play no omo the bomb bushi mu ke blast. But Peter, you see, who raised a very important point about school placement. The same thing happened. Yeah. Because of say best hands na wo ho a no be hu adwuma no omo ye omo free ho nti wo ni esi and the same way no best hands na wo ho no ye omo free ho and wo ni akọ
Dawuro mama here in fact one of the issues they say obia and say top hierarchy na yi omo free mo no was one of me make us say contributed to even inspecting the plane and a helicopter and crash here. Yeah. Because if you look at some of the issues you are raising, due diligence, due diligence.
Tio, okay, Mr. President Mahama, Omanibomo, Ebia, Opena Seminar, but so far, he's not done enough for the 8 now. So, Ekoba, I yet to say, and it's Rebecca, MPP4, now be the asset, Banahene. any before na pese plane blasting ni ma no ma mini sem bebre ya no mo say bi mada akwaluku na mo sin ke nko chini krampo aso kan sem bia ense so kan ne hu sem bebre no abana ko ye hwehwemu wie no mo de report ne bae no the helicopter report no mbanti in page 21 ti de mo kan say na Kumasi the weather no na enye and that there was heavy clouds sitting just 600 meters blah blah only Accra and Kumasi aerodrome weather information were available into Ufrea call Boase aerodrome that is a directional location baby oko na oko no plane iko no and heli no eko no na the information na available to the plane any o man no mo ha no mo hwe
eyo Boase
no Kumasi baby oko no o Boase no
na so to plane ko
but o na uko say wo de wo be poso they are ba we year be na bo
enye ye ne papa ye
ne papa ne papa ye
ka say enye na ye
okay I don't so be wana no na they will on be to heaven another o ma zuza
o ya da ne Peter church o say obi abeso for heaven na ye bo ogu ya na
pacho mi nyen we misra
onye we pacho
Matias majatum
ne papa
Wapa ya na ebo abai na baby awuko no unim baby awuko don't try to aswa in paper I say there was no information on the weather along the flight route available to the pilot Tio na baby nwanwa kra ya pay 24 say the aircraft on the day of the flight even though it was declared say na well you know but na a lucky terrain awareness warning system na a lucky advanced navigation with terrain mapping na a lucky automatic flight control system na a lucky equipment that could have enhanced situational awareness to some extent in the plane na
look, apart from that, yes, a plane no we did 10 years. I say we did after 10 years, and then who say every maintenance after the 10 years.
I bow for almost say MPP for plane on toy and I
to be lies.
Plane no, on my report teacher say Omukoton 2015. In fact, 2014 almost started some koye now on manufacture back China even 2012. Now not 10 years.
And there's action.
March.
Yeah,
May or this year echo and almost 3 months extension. Not 3 months is about August 18th. August 6th now. Can you imagine?
I did obey mention a Uko J extension on yet to say Bako. Why would you say Ukai? Ukatai. Would you took quiet blasting? And I go catch a organizer say, "Oh dear, mammy comra, mammy come Jenny,
break pad are
now I can say, now I can tell mechanic,
mammy fan come out,
mammy fan come out,
now corner a boss was
Twitter mamiti alaji ninya kwendiri with other issues. Alaji on the plane issue, on the recruitment issue.
Recruitment in the same no my argument on responsibility. May say the backstops military high command say a serious country they should be answering to Ghanaians by now why they thing happen. Have you seen any serious statement from military high command why this thing happen?
Oh yeah, well public affairs na issue statement
said
say nipa
who was responsible? Now recruitment one recruitment say police here police here or more their last nano baby.
In fact, to be fair to Dampire, even though some of us disagreed with the last minute, maybe
and nothing about police, no.
Yeah.
So police here recruitment. Do you know police recruitment? A doors to change soldier for there. The numbers. Omoye last year, OTC OBT crack cano. May cousin be or call me cousin ba. He was part of also Kobe. Say crowd war zone. Ewo Boku area conflict zone, sorry. Ewo Boku area. See what they did was that ye marching so obia ni day obeba ye will say 1000 say uba this day the following day say sana police here no la recruitment military way ye no last year no what is assassin we see here. Why have they moved away? Military high command hierarchy. Why have they moved away from police and used last year to do the recruitment?
New people are in charge.
There was an indication.
Exactly.
There was an earlier indication. Say that Hemakobe can say the 25-year recruitment age, no.
Yes.
Extending
to 35.
Honey, who say NDC for no person would do for a ship.
Yes.
Nana Ghana card na expose mu age no. Nti no mu push say yenye extension.
Sir.
And me no me can say Alaji ade we say hwemu yi it could crab be say enipa na ekogu ho no enye the right people ana so mo kobai omo say ye invite you through omo apply. Oba kra na NDC full soldiers ya from say momra na this first day no ayemfa mo na munko
because they tell him
because say wo kwa now wo apply ye ma day out be ba meboa so how come say you say the 20,000 that mun nyina kugu ho one day how come
na omo ka so mun nyina so mra 6 no
how come
na mo kwa matutu gate ni mun nyina
how come
8 asara mu bie gate
it was
no mabre
a call for proper investigation
so me can say changes now many opinion mama yeah was sorrow no me reset no or reset no maybe he needs another reset to reset the reset because this year there last year yeah they fine the part efficiency. Why did you move new hierarchy no why they move away from this
mama call bema okohwe omkwa wa ya say in the past no recruitment grandpa in the dark MP we need job so say this is the first time open. Can you imagine?
Look, me ma ebusianfo yako. Oma very young. Me Peter Muni. Me started me. I have very young kids. I want show ba.
Oh, shebra obre.
Oh, me say wa show ba san at least even up to SS. Na say wa sorry efifi ano pa say o pejuma. Na obeti. Say we. Oh, can you imagine the impact on the family, the immediate family? And yet people are talking as if they are not bothered about these days. Hey, yeah. And I say another Black Wednesday. We say plane crash and also say the Amukai and we say Wednesday. DNAC. Dear crowd. Share the reports in the Amuka camp. Say no one as my account. Believe it,
and I vet in the MPP in some, but I'm ready to call
vetting of the Chief Justice and MPP presidential. So, near TF or not TF MPP. Sir Honorable Ken is calling on the majority tribe to reject the minority tribe.
Majority tribe in any day.
I'll say account for.
Do you know the population account population in Ghana? Do you know by 2021 how
population census mean check here
45% account population. Granted say all accounts were to vote for account candidate. In a national election, all accounts were non-accounts. Maybe so also voting minority no all canon. The account dominate account no canon. Account population in this country is 45%. Account population 45% Peter. Yeah, the 45% winning election of Ghana. NHS Ebsebio Ebino Kasaya na Omayi no Mukasa na Ajune Kwechiri. If you are calling for this yen majority tribe of ethnic group eno ani akano Ghana because we are kani. If you are talking of minority ethnic groups, it includes the north, it includes the Gans, it includes the Volta region, it includes Peter who names are
the
minority.
Oh yes.
But we can say no so krano or a minority the tribe no a minority within the accounts. That's what you are saying. Yes. Saying what's the percentage of our sin in the account population?
Me we no kasabia ma delegates omuntie and I mean say MPP delegates omuntie sa kasawe. Oko can say Eastern region go. No Eastern region.
Where the me patroneba Yenya Prince Pra.
Okay.
Emma me update bi. I don't know say na say me bond.
Maybe I
say Air Commodore Thomas Ni Fiu Okai, Director General Human Resource, and Colonel Matthew Kwesi Suka, Director of Personnel Personnel Administration, have been asked to step aside. Colonel Kusida Akon is taking over as Director for Personnel Administration, and Commodore F.A. Nyakon takes over as Director General Human Resource. Changes are about.
Matthias, I mean, let's you Prince Pra about security sense reporting.
But
me cry am friend je adisua kakra won ho. But we all the abano. But yeah, almost step aside. Say almost continue fie and I say asan reassign almost to another position.
And now almost step aside pending outcome of investigation.
What me matter say? No, a movie one man. You reassign almost to another unit.
So what is the point?
Principal, come again, Mr. O.
On train because say almost step aside pending outcome of investigation.
Well, so far until say abani movie
me say so ma commission investigation within the military.
And so money on bay, but also buy na nkasa so.
Esa we na obi kan gujeto no ka ba na okujeto aye etinu say yes yente full probe by partisan by partisan probe into this hurious
ne are won the parliament is a casa cry say man before e ma ma monga
akom
into where the call the parliament
now akom say
banking sector clean up you kura na aban no ayehwemu awie ana case ni work court speaker bargain Bɛkyerɛ say obeti committee
this one obeti otiye I think that committee na Joseph for say we see chairman
omotiye ena lawyer to BOG
we sure Frank
Yenya Penny Esankuma.
Oh, not Frank Davis. Okay.
I'm not sure, Mama says. I wait.
Did yourself for sales?
Oh, act to or mine. Parliament is not interested in going into it.
Namenga MPP as someone now. MPP so.
The principal
MPP. Say the American Dawuro. Meaning say MPP delegates. Say bio. Omunim de omope. Omunim. Niama ebe ma omo ato aba on 31st January 2021. So Sanka say obi the a friend say Eastern region ho. Eastern region go no Eastern region.
I say Eastern go Eastern come no and north go north come and also no nti we have to be from central.
Say sometimes when you talk every say o kasa chia o ma nyansa ni o mutimu. Sometimes I may be no more drink. Say, or Kasape, nobody will analyze in a Kasano. Now, Eastern region, so of the central region, Eastern region, the central region, it was side man, and yes, I was Southern Ghana. And then tonight, I don't know why you know who say Southern Ghana, Eastern region, and Southern Ghana are different. But when you go to Northern Ghana, no, Savannah and the Northeast are the same. Utemi say was Southern Ghana.
Yes.
Eastern region say was Southern Ghana.
Yes.
Your friend saying Central region say was Southern Ghana. So Eastern region say Eastern region ba say a Southern Ghana.
Yes.
So Eastern region there no person from Eastern region but Central region bet him aba. Say me na Southern Ghana. But okay Northern Ghana different party poll. We different political parties. Now, so because President Mahama Oyen Northerner no, Baumia so is a Northerner, Baumia must not come. Meanwhile, Dr. Baumia fi Northeast. John Mahama fi President Mahama fi Savannah. Why do you think that listeners or delegates will listen to this? Say, when it comes to Northern Ghana, there you not separate the regions. What you say? About Southern Ghana, there you are able to separate Eastern from Central region. Delegates
no if he allow even that I didn't know can say I can't go I can't come you know
correct. Why are you not saying that I can't go I can't go one call sir because one also I can but if it comes regional no Eastern region is different from Central region By echo northern Ghana no, northeast is not different from Savannah. Okay, say nipa no mokasa no sebio.
Say ono na ti ni time bi say akan say ono na all call say akan should reject minor tribe. So sa na tie de na dey say won so ye akan. Na na Akufo Addo so ye akan. Dino say akan go akan kama. Then na no so ye
because when you say no pa a say no message be anyhow. Sebio Peter say most of my research na amount for year no any say research no be here mugo.
Okay, so Peter, Prince Pras and baby must see it's true say Omari assign omutu a different portfolio.
Yes.
Colonel Thomas I say Colonel Matthew Kwesi Asukano now he is in charge of Kofi Annan Peacekeeping Center. And
no the
Thomas ni Phil Okai and so Director General Planning and Plans and Planning at the general headquarters.
Hey, planning.
Onipa na went to recruit
planning am my man be here, you know.
Onipa 4,000. I feel the one that planning for the whole armed forces. Hey, e Ghana you was semu Peter. Onipa na went to planning and recruit Onipa 4,000. Yeah, no, director plans and planning at the general headquarters.
Hey, the whole armed forces, Ghana forces. This country, wait, until me message, you know, say be no message asan. Say regret to say pot belly scrub me so say me checking me belly. So yeah message no look. I've always said who ye campaigner kanyama o candidate betimaye ama party any abine any Ghana for nyina. That should be your message. We should stop this ethnicity. We should stop this. Say Dr. Baumiyako for you or north. Meanwhile, you can't say you mboni pa homo yes adian mano. Meanwhile, one kasa o ye candidate no, o na o yes adian mano. So who will they believe? They may bomb say campaign way it will be done in an atmosphere of decency. No be so that delegates will be able to judge obi or adwimpa.
And I just want to I come with the issue say nim fipa launch Martin and call for year and Akufo Addo 2008-2012.
They fake and
but I say me challenge you say ene for one video bra and now one write-up,
yes,
and now one audio, yes, of Alan Martin himself,
yes,
during the 2008, 2012, 2014 NPP primaries. Our cassette and Akufo Addo, you won't get it.
Yes, that's true.
You won't get it.
That's true.
But you all day a year course.
Yes.
But in the case of Honorable Kennedy Japan, he himself
is a conveyor
on a lead attacker, and so you can produce numerous videos, audios, and write-up of Onuankasa or abuse Bawumia. But in the case of Alan Martin, for that one, I give it to him.
That's true.
He never ever opened his mouth.
And then
so Obeka BB against Akufo Addo. So here at Japan, on Alan Martin,
on a leading charge, that be on Siano because on no name no or can say Alan no behavior no behavior and then man Alan Shia he never recovered and he was not going to toe that line on no eba bema sema on Bɛkyerɛ say or ebema
and the mema semni
because we say Oko can say, I am not party for you for asem. I am I feel reluctant in talking about them. So me, my friend say, more contest in you do your contest. Tell the delegates they obey my party no. When you become the candidate, any the obey my Ghana for when you become a candidate, that should be your message. So that omo kana so muchi e was pemu obeto abama. But this thing about we feel her we you say minority we majority we you say no enhwehwemba. If you look at the way I live in Ghana, majority tribe no kano on the majority group no e worry say bio obi a oye minority. That's how we have lived in this country. That's why we are united in this kind. Yes, sir. Yeah, yet to say the amount for free. Yeah. If you want to recall what in Nipa we are Kasa Kaye previously, Chale Papa Magana. So we should prevent these kind of comments.
Okay. But as I also see say on one social who say within the account, so no see a minority.
Within the account. Yes, so I
seen
and yes, was it or yes.
Oh, I seen and I seen see a minority within the accounts.
And the accounts so special also even within the accounts.
Then I send no so a minority
within the
account communities.
And a candidate say so your accounts
feed the majority. You want more feed the majority accounts.
And accounts no more within Ghana no. If you look at Ghana total population, no accounts no more is not up to 50%. So you're saying,
are you and the Chamanyaba?
So it means to say, sir, campaign message here.
A non-starter.
A non-starter. Until many I mean, say delegates munti, and it will show. May I have said,
because it's an allergy can sign it here, and then I sent to phone and Kotuma point.
That's all.
Na California achim for so na ekwapin for
yes
yanso yankoto ma branch tempo
na
asim for so tumo na wo kana Japan
na agbefo ni nkranfo na eyi no so mo ye minority
so mo so konto ma ba omi mo ye minority. Is that how we want to divide this country? Very unfortunate
because nkranfo omo ni candidate wom say be me na
agbefo so ni
candidate wom na
nzimafo ni
candidate wom anzima so omo kan no.
Okay. Yes.
Anyway, before for any northerners. A minority. So if you do this, you see your smoothness level. Now, say meant to make
okay, my Peter we on this one. So I saw Hannah. We are near her bring be a can.
Sorry, because I dare no gagging order be about the animal. Ubiewa no say no, you can't go there. This is in court. Ubiewa no say no, it is in court.
November, how many days now? I'm Saka.
And then 15. So my friend said, "Chim pepe, 15 days."
And at December, so there, I'm saying Christmas and holidays you won't be.
Yeah.
And I generally so campaign no and shada and yeah because now will be a year planning and operations. Me bompa is a message in content.
Okay.
Now,
me nyanka ye no December 31st kranka ye.
But you see, the truth of the matter is occasional jobs there yana
when you occasional
me come as depend who want it
natural
occasional jobs there part of gold meet contest so say there were million by ko ba say pray bibia o say me ka bibitia o kakra
okay
but Usha Asama President Kufo Kai, Wabana MPP and Lanche Omo Ideological Institute or Party Head Office now. Or say stay away from tribal and religious campaign. So Kai, yes. MPP phone call press video no. No tear Asama President Kufo Kai on that day. But President Kufo said we should even reject people.
Yes,
yeah. But you see. Say politics there behind the scenes on friend whispering campaign no one be because of obi shia ni nua wo kwanche me ya e bit me kan sama nenim na president mama asam ne ya ba mu no ne ntro ne no mo de frafra but to mount a platform say main platform na candidate na obeka bibi obi be find it derogatory and I say tribal any religious idea I am a bit problematic to me bumpire pa say but me interest was the organization and so far Joe Wise no wonder he's called Joe Wise why are they pa
or a wise man
but also what committee be umveno they say IPAC dey was aspirant no obia or rep our mushia as and when to decide on going for it how
every step
to basha say album no is provisional cry is even ready
yes
but say noise na atwatwa say And he said people were making noise about the test con and the schools go.
Me say many abi also obe mama blows. Okay. Many MPB also blow me because of that can be we are.
But I like you so I got Kwaku. And I saw a day. That day no MP no me na me nam. Me ba no. And I'm afraid wo I would say I would do. Me MPB ba. Na MP no oye nyina ya damfo. Ye bedu a hwe na wan fa one more because I'm medical MP na share base bia ya ye ho argument pen. Ya buy how do nkasa o ma hu de ye no what teaching na ko fa nto ene na ka oso ko bunu kra ba ndi na agro.
Said me into ono ne nam. Okay ta ono dia chairman e wo parliament say one way na anka DMB dim no almost smuggle on yet test ko ni bia na almost and I maybe sound say school ben and na nipa no a almost smuggle also
because the new constitution has specified
yes
say test
president exactly
and coordinate
my argument in the schools now almost fail schools ni bi egu so no catch you
but of course say even schools na egu crampo na o compiler it should be there
yes
na Munya because who compile no all the schools what database
yeah, exactly. So and they have refs.
But it is up to the to decide where in school in the yes you need test con you hope you need say then you correct all those mistakes near there. And so far I'm saying through the intervention and as Joe Wise ne committee what to say as far as no be anfani nana mra no munya BBM friend to say easy iPad omu share as when all those they there ba ho ni nyina because me won nya me pa the album register na ye de beto ama no say no mum problematic and outcome no be but say no ye so far o magia to me enche say by next month be certify na a month to time or so no obia benya ne copy that settles it and the campaign here you need we dey munya because say the president for kan no omo yes no they'll be rejected.
All right. Madam Asi, I'm saying Brena Swinty, you're the best of
oh, yeah,
but you see, now Capita, now Kenyan, Sanka, you maybe say tribalism. I don't know what kind of cheetah food in a can. And it's not a MP we can ya say a agro because we are the uncle for Becca.
Yes,
me presidential candidate in the back. Ephraim in CC no money make. I'm sure. Maybe baby, may I believe in consistency. Yeah. So now they may move from DMB akobebia. Timbisa is no what to say by free DMB. I a public announcement say me support. How would people take you? Because nobody will take me serious. Yeah. But I meet me a catcher and say tribalism no. Because oh yes sir. Maybe because I only make Kasakra trying to get me to join them. Say they are heavy on tribalism, and I told them say, "Oh yes, I did at home work. It won't work, and it will go back. It will go and come back to affect the party." Yeah. So what's a man pushing? One will be a man pushing on some fatas will be the party anymore. Wow, we are can you see you man. Obeka catch any other gumbe ni so metop ma ana igbeni obeka catch any other gat ni so nto abama ana igbeni ana nkrani ana konkombeni so no nto abama we don't do that enti me da say and for alaji awudu mahama alaji ne dia kaya no fanche be mana komeka na fi enya kwa afre na alaji na ayefe enti o managing editor for the custodian newspaper Peter Ankoma deputy managing editor for the Daily Dispatch mote Dr. Frank Bano enso enkano pay na sanka ye ne lawyer edi enkomo lawyer Kwame Adofo edi enkomo wa hama sobati entimi amasunti mofa no enche yere besi hase midi ni Kwaku Dawuro meda akaline ne Eric no sorry meda akaline ne Eric no nyina asese anopay omuta mechi na yedujumadi no eba metena mu de ma Gordon asarebidi akon midi edi Kwaku Dawuro nyankopon ama media me no be share on movement in the morning Monday anopa na Peter ni awudu ma say movement in the morning de omumma na me nka hwe This week, this week, Muba, and you know, Mehena, invitation. Kwame Jesse, no, yes, Kwame Jesse. Kwame Jesse, me fan a new one, my fan. We are almost in Mehano. So Kwame Jesse Nikoka. Omo ho ahomete papa. I was young, but I was saying, I'm a man, production in a pili, Madame Strasbourg.